Greetings, one and all, to the most cursed, most cringiest corner of the internet. A YouTube channel content creator actively alienating everyone in both the analog and digital world. Welcome and good evening, wonderful dice of all alignments. I am Lunar D8. This is Let's Play Katawa Shoujo. I'm tired from all the running, so I just want to unwind. But I don't want to break my slowly building routine of getting to school before the morning rush. After taking a long shower anyway, I dry myself off and get out of the stall to put on my clothes. Out of nowhere, a shadow appears within the mist, looming and radiating malicious intent. It bursts through the fog. Sup? What are you doing here? What the hell? You scared me. What's your problem? I should be asking you that. I've been looking for you all over the place, man. What do you mean all over the place? I want to ask if he's been looking for me like that, stark naked, but hold my tongue back. I finally realize I'm still naked too and quickly hold up my shirt in front of me, but Kenji doesn't seem to notice a thing. His glasses are fogged up, but then, why doesn't he wipe them off? Is his vision so bad, it's like he's perpetually seeing through fog? You know, your room and yeah, that's it. Hey, I still had to get up though. Whatever. It's not important. Can I borrow some money? No. He puts on an innocent face and looks away, trying very hard to look very casual. It doesn't work. He's as transparent as his window pane size glasses. Talking neutrally like this, wearing nothing, feels awkward. Actually, somehow it's even more awkward to be naked in front of someone when they can't see me being naked, to say nothing of the fact that he's naked as well. I try to brush this feeling off with little success. Money? Sure. Awesome! Wait, why do you need it? Can't you just give it to me because I had the goodwill to not run through your pockets while you were in the shower? I could have, but I exercised restraint. And in the end, isn't that the thought that counts? Come on and be a pal. This makes no sense. If it's the thought that counts, I should withhold payment, since his thoughts were so clearly impure, and his intentions are probably even more sinister, since he can't tell me what they were. I say as much to him. I'm offended, man, but if that's your game, then fine. I guess I have no choice. I want to order a pizza, and I already have most of the cost of the pizza. I need your help for the rest. I get some of that pizza too, right? No. Are you serious? Yeah, I would give you some, but you have class. You don't have time to eat a pizza. What about you? I'm not going to class. I have to wait for the pizza and pay the guy, and then eat it. It's not easy. You have to obtain the pizza stealthily. If you don't, everyone will see you and then the pizza, and they'll ask for a slice. It's a hard word out there. Everyone wants a piece, then you're left with pizza-less in an unforgiving world. It's happened before. That's how I know. Every day I plan my vengeance so that when people who wronged me order a pizza, I will be there, ever vigilant. I am the Batman of pepperoni. Kenji strikes a dramatic pose, completely without irony. But yeah, I only need like 400 yen, please. You're my only hope. I can't go outside and buy my own pizza. It's too far. I try not to go out unless it's absolutely necessary. Let me tell you what happened last time I went out without carefully planning out in advance. I was outside. I can't remember what I was doing. Something, standing, maybe wondering how I got there. And then out of nowhere it happened. Like a flash of lightning, splitting the sky. Like how you split a sandwich into two equal pieces to make it more manageable to hold and eat. A bird crapped on my head. It was the second most shocking moment of my life. What was the first? He ignores me and keeps going. I want to grab him and shake him. Is he just trying to keep momentum? I'll go with that, even if it's more likely he just didn't hear me. It was like in the opening of some kind of anime show, you know? How there is always a part where the main dude is fighting his rival, and they fly each other and clash swords, and there's like big dramatic colored auras and zoom. It was like that, but with poo. Okay. So yeah, I need some money, please. Don't leave me hanging, man. I only need like 1,000 yen. You said 400 earlier. Thought it was 400. Okay. What? I'll pay you back, I swear. You better. That's what it means to borrow stuff. I don't know when I'll be able to pay you back. You have 1 week. Ah! Kenji winces, making noise of a dying cow. A particularly disturbing fact given that his baton is conducting freely. You're not supposed to be so tight-assed about money between brothers in arms. Men have bad enough as is. Do you know that male porn stars only make about half what female porn stars make? Why do you know this? That doesn't mean anything unless you're a porn star. So maybe I am a porn star on the side, struggling to make ends meet as I fight the feminist agenda. And you can't even spot me on your crumbs? You bastard! Nobody understands. Nobody. Like, what the fuck is happening? Wouldn't feminists be against pornography in the first place? This feminine agenda stuff, man. This stuff is important. I can see you don't give a shit. But this is serious here. Feminists are dangerous enemy. Make no mistake. You take them lightly, and you wake up in the morning with a knife in your back. Bam! Out of nowhere. How do you wake up in the morning if someone stabbed you in your sleep? Women are terrible at stabbing things. I thought you just said they don't take them lightly. Well, I mean, don't take them lightly for the big things. Eventually, they're not, but there's some kind of war. Like a big war, men on one side and feminist forces on the other side. It would be pretty ugly. There are so many things going on here. Like I actually know people on the YouTubes that speak about like stuff, a tangent to this stuff, and even they would think this guy is a little bit like basically a straw man sort of thing. That this guy is written to be so fucking crazy that it paints anybody that has any concerns about this sort of stuff, you know, as some sort of fucking, I don't know, serial killer? Like, they're just making this guy as unlikable as possible. When realistically, the biggest issue about the whole feminism thing is that you have an agenda where it's rich people. It's rich people that want to just increase the amount of people that can be taxed. That's the best way to describe it. It's rich people that want to get more taxes. And so if you have more people working and more people doing stuff, well, it's more taxes. It's basically important, that is. Besides, my big thing about this is that you have a lot of things, whether it's in colleges or media or just in society itself, where there's a lot of people just outright saying very hateful things about men, and it's like I don't hate anybody, but it's just, one, I hear a lot of things about people saying they hate all men, and then of course there's people who try to cover this stuff that, you know, I think at least are trying to do a good job of not sounding as unlikable as this guy right here. But basically it's mainly just, hey, here's the statistics with this, here's the amount of people that wind up dying from this. It's like, yes, there are very real threats to everybody out there. Most important thing I can say to people is just be careful who you date. You know, if you're going to date someone, make sure it's somebody that actually cares about you as a person. Beyond that, when it comes to like marriages, and especially with things with children, you have to be very concerned about what the well-being of that child's going to be in the future. But the big problem I have with it is just, in today's culture, it seems that nobody takes things like male domestic violence victims seriously. Like it would seem like initially if you were to tell women that there's men out there who are victims of domestic violence, that they would probably just laugh at you and tell you that such a thing doesn't exist. And then even if you could show them the incontrovertible proof that it actually exists and it's actually very, very common, well, then the next reaction is like, okay, what did the man do that was so bad that the woman had to do that to him? So it's not an issue of men versus women. It's more so an issue of, I think it's just rich people wanting to stop the people as a whole from standing up to them. So it's divide and conquer. Turn men against women, turn whites against blacks. Trying to think of groups you can turn against each other. I don't know, Christians against atheists? I don't know. The main point is divide and conquer. So it's more so a conspiracy theory about rich people agenda. Where like rich people and basically politicians trying to manipulate people. Heck, a lot of politicians, even if they pretend to be on different sides from each other, are actually best buddies, and they're just playing a fucking con against us, the normal people. And the best way to keep us from, being against them, especially the whole 1% Wall Street shit that was going on a decade plus, is find new shits for all of us to fight amongst ourselves about. I mean, yeah, heck. Oh, the whole gay versus straight thing. Because I'll tell you this, I'm bisexual. That being said, like, there's some sort of, like, there's people on both sides that are fucking bigots. Like, there's people that are of the straight side that are like, oh, yeah, gay people are sins and stuff and all that crap. And, heck, I mean, I grew up in the church. That was a very awkward thing. I mean, heck, I remember sometimes being told as a child by adults that being gay was worse than murder and being worse than being Adolf Hitler. So that was a very, perhaps mentally unhealthy thing to hear as a child. My own personal take on it as an adult is there's nothing wrong with people being gay. Now, of course, people should be older when they make that kind of decision. Like, there shouldn't be little kids talking about anything to do with people being gay or sexuality or stuff. They're children. But main point is this. There's no sin about people being gay. But it's just an issue of, like, turn gays against straights and men against women, blacks against whites, Christians against atheists, and all that shit. At the end of the day, it's just, there's extremists on both groups, in every division you can think of. Like take the straight and gay thing. There's straight people that literally are, bigoted against gay people. Same way, there are gay people that act like, all straight people are horrible, bigoted monsters, and there's violent people of both sides. There's good people on both sides. Like I said, human beings are a very complex thing. As I just say the word thing, even though it's not a very good descriptor. But the main point is that people are more than just like one-dimensional, like Ned Flanders in The Simpsons. And a lot of people tend to have things that would sound contradictory, like, okay, I'm a Christian bisexual femboy who loves futanari, and I support Donald Trump and Israel. People say that doesn't make sense, and I'm like, yes, it does. I also have the Holy Ghost. I believe in the God of Abraham. I believe in Jesus Christ, resurrection of the cross. I believe in the Holy Ghost. I have the Holy Ghost. Been baptized, all that stuff. I'm also bisexual. I also like futanari. And everyone's like, we didn't ask. I'm like, I didn't ask for this guy to be here naked and borrowing money for a fucking pizza. But here we are. Main point being is this. I think it's just rich people trying to turn everybody against each other. I think a lot of the reason why we got because here's the thing, remember about a decade or so back, people weren't really all that divided. We were more so starting to unite as a people, and we're starting to do that 1%er, March on Wall Street bullshit, complaining about the people that are having almost all the wealth in the country. And then all of a sudden, it just politics. I think the media started pushing things about whether it's men versus women, whites and blacks, Christians and atheism, gays and straights. I think it's just an agenda being pushed by super rich people to make everyone hate each other. Now, that being said, my issue with the whole feminism thing is this. I'm egalitarian. I'm pro equal rights across the board. I think everyone should have the right to vote. The problem is, I feel a lot of the feminist sort of propaganda out there is, oh, all men are bad, all men are rapists, all men beat their wives, men bad, and oh, men are, privileged in society, and all men cheat and all that. Which is just, I'll tell you this, from my perspective, it's just it's demoralizing to feel like an entire society, constantly is just saying you're garbage. And of course, it doesn't help that a lot of IRL stuff my entire life did the same. And heck, I got bullied so fucking much growing up in school. And of course, still closeted bisexual, because I'm like, not sure how my parents are going to respond to that, because I'm still working on that discussion. So, heck, my parents are anti-gay, particularly my dad, and they also think Trump is the literal Antichrist from the Bible. I'm still on fairly good terms with my parents. That's not been an issue between us. Really, the main thing is that, to begin with, me and my parents really don't see each other super often, and, well, they have their own issues beyond that. Like, I tend to have a bit of depression. I'm pretty sure they both have far, far worse depression than me. But, yeah, none of our political beliefs have really been an issue. I mean, the best way to describe my dad is literally last Christmas, my dad handed everyone in the family a 6-page printed out stapled packets that he typed out himself, explaining how Christmas and Easter are of the devil, and how celebrating Christmas or celebrating Easter is devil worship. And then I had a nice half-hour-long discussion where I was defending gay rights. Again, he's the one who started the conversation. Literally having a conversation with him defending, one, there's nothing wrong with people being gay, and, using my rationale throughout the Bible, and a lot of stuff like, take Sodom and Gomorrah. Sodom and Gomorrah was destroyed because it was a city full of murderers and rapists and thieves and cannibals and horrible people. They were known for violence. They would lure people into their city, and then they would just start to give them money that would not be accepted anywhere and wait for the person to be exhausted, and then they would attack them, steal all the money they gave to them, steal everything they brought with them, rape and murder them. And people say, oh, they went after the angels. Your sexuality does not change whether or not you are violent or not. Your sexuality doesn't change who you are as a person. It just changes what you like. Like whether or not you like girls with red hair or blue hair or blonde hair doesn't change what kind of person you are. Same way if you're gay. It doesn't make you violent. Same way, at one point my dad was reasoning, oh, people in, prisons that rape people. It's because they're gay. And I'm like, no, it's because they're rapists. It has nothing to do with people being gay. Your sexuality does not make you violent. It does not make you a criminal. It does not change who you are as a person. Whether or not you like chocolate ice cream or butter pecan or Rocky Road ice cream does not change what kind of person you are. Whether you like pepperoni on your pizza or pineapple does not make a deciding factor whether or not you're a serial killer or something. But the main thing is this. Had the people in Sodom and Gomorrah merely been gay, at best they would have asked the angels for a phone number, and then they said no, okay, they would have left them alone. It'd be like a straight guy being left in a room alone with the Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders, and they're all fucking naked and their titties are out. Just because the guy likes big booby girls doesn't mean he's going to rape people. Your sexuality doesn't mean you're going to be fucking violent. And heck, my biggest thing with why I find very good support of the people that are basically the whole men's rights movement stuff is this. It's basically mentioning, hey, there's all these people mentioning all these horrible things about men, spreading all this hate, and just being very malicious about it. And it's like, hey guys, do you not understand how psychologically unwell that is for society? I mean, the way they talk about men, if you talked about any other group like that, it would send up alarm bells, like people are gonna get killed or something. It's it sounds like it's just spreading hate. And of course, yes, there are people that are literally do hate women and shit, and that's fucked up and it's wrong. I condemn that. I don't think anyone should be violent against anybody. But I'm just saying this. If there are men who go through domestic violence, maybe, actually fucking care about them. They shouldn't feel like society doesn't care about them and that everyone's basically just either laughing at them or just saying they must have deserved it just for existing. So again, I feel it's just rich people trying to manipulate everybody. It's kind of like the whole gay straight thing. There's no reason why people should hate each other. Like, there's no sin in people being gay. There's no sin in people being trans. Though I did think people should be older when they make those decisions. I'm against the idea of little kids being brought into stuff like that. Same way the church. I don't think the church should have any kind of sex or sexuality. I think there should be no sex or sexuality in schools or church or around children. Main thing with like church is this. Like, let's take a husband and wife. We can all agree there would be no sin in a wife sucking her husband's dick. There's no sin in that. But you wouldn't do it in the church pew in the house of God. So at that point, it's not an issue of like one ideology over another. It's more so just, it's a very sacred place. It should be treated with respect. I mean, there's like, it's like if you had like a Korn or Slipknot t-shirt, that's fucking comfy as hell. Like, you know, imagine you have like a Slipknot t-shirt or a Korn t-shirt and you got like fishnets and like black jeans and chains and shit. That's comfy. But you wouldn't wear that into the church. There's nothing wrong with those clothes. It's like swim trunks. Like your swim trunks when you go swimming. Like, it's fine to wear your swimming, but you wouldn't wear that. Like, heck, you wouldn't go to the church in your pajamas. So I think it's more so about just being respectful of, you know. And of course, if you're not actually a believer of God, I mean, at that point, you're either not going to go, or you're going to show up as a guest to just sort of see what people are like. And keep in mind, let's say Christianity, for example, there's all these divisions with different groups. I mean, of course, you have Catholics, you have Orthodox, you have Protestant. Heck, take just Protestants alone. There's so many different denominations. And, well, even the denominations themselves can differ depending on church or even state or country. Heck, even just different state if you're all just in America, let alone different parts of the world. And different places even within the same state can be very different. A lot of times it might depend on the pastor. I'll tell you this, I was raised apostolic. Heck, I'm a white guy who was raised in an all-black church. Now I'll say this, my church was pretty much anti-gay. I mean, they didn't really bring it up. Usually the sermon, or usually 3 fucking hours every fucking week, was about the end of the world and like fire, we're all gonna fucking die, and the end of the world, the apocalypse, Armageddon shit. So that was cheerful. But the main point being is this. As far as the whole feminism thing is just, I feel like there's a lot of mention in both media as well as just the general zeitgeist. I mean, heck, go to TikTok and listen to just a random woman talking about men, and you just hear constant hateful stuff where they're just saying the most. And it's like, if it's just one or a few people, that's not a big deal. But this is like, and again, I don't think their free speech should be infringed in any way. But it is concerning that there's a lot of people that just seem to like hate everyone and verbally call for violence. I mean, it's just, and heck, they even try to say like the men's rights argument shouldn't have their free speech. They want to silence and censor other people, or even call like, heck, I think the United Kingdom and England are recently wanting to classify anything they consider misogyny as terrorism. And I mean, obviously, yes, Kenji's out of his fucking mind, okay? And yes, I admit I have mental illness, but my mental illness is I'm lonely, depressed, sad, I talk to myself, and I have low self-esteem. Also, I'm bisexual, so there, if you'll count that. I know some people would. Heck, I feel like the church would want to try to give me a fucking exorcism, say I'm probably possessed by fucking demons or some shit. Main point is I'm very pro-free speech, pro-equal rights, and I think everyone should just be kind to each other. Heck, I've spent my entire life trying to live as a pacifist. I have only ever hurt anybody in self-defense or in defense of another. And heck, even in times of self-defense, I have never ever hit a woman. Heck, I remember being 13 years old and having straight up fucking Bell's palsy. Half my face was paralyzed, and I basically looked like I was a stroke victim because half my face was fucking paralyzed. I remember being in school and there was like, I was like, what, 13? And another 13-year-old girl, both same height, but she's like 400 pounds, and I'm like 150 pounds. And she's like kicking me in the nuts and punching me and poking me in the eyeball and slap me and punch me, and everyone's just like, I got like 100 plus people just sitting there watching me, laughing at me. Then again, most of my high school was, well, at least high school things were better. People really didn't mess with me too much. I think they maybe grew up, or either after 9/11 everyone was just like scared of death or something. I don't know. Or they were like worried I was going to show up with like, I don't know, a water gun or some shit. Not that I would ever do that. I'm kind of, like I said, I'm a very strong anti-violence person. Like if I were to, use a gun, it would always be in self-defense. And it would always be in a situation I felt like backed into a corner. But other than that, I'm the kind of person that, I'm a very polite person. I like being courteous. I like being easygoing. I like getting along with people. And I like having conversations with people, even if I don't really agree with them. That being said, I went years and years of everybody basically telling me to go fucking kill myself and saying horrible insults to me over and over and over again. Hey, I got spitting on people and getting punched and getting just knocked around by everybody, getting jumped multiple times, especially outside of school. And of course after school and stuff like that. And well, hell, there's times people try to gouge my eyes out, cut my arms off, try to beat the fucking shit out of me multiple times. Heck, I've had times people just run behind me in front of a group of people, like 100 plus again, and just like drop kick me in the back of the knees. And everyone's just enjoying it. Or getting strangled, or getting full Nelsoned, or just, hey, we're gonna throw a rope around your neck and just choke the fuck out of you. Like, that's fucking great. And that's fucking depressing. That makes you feel sad, I'll say that. Especially like 5v1 fights. I can remember what that time without having like a goose egg side of my left temple sticking out like a couple inches. I also felt very embarrassing about that too. Honestly though, my body, I feel like my bones have probably gotten less dense since then, so I don't think I could... I'm pretty sure if I got my ass kicked nowadays, I'd probably just be in the fucking emergency room. I don't think my body can handle that shit anymore. And I don't want to ever fucking find out. Then again, I have a terrible sense of balance. If I were to try to learn to drive a fucking bicycle, I'd probably wouldn't be able to afford those fucking medical bills. But I feel like they have Kenji written here to sound as stupid and as basically as unlikable as possible. They're trying to make this guy sound like crazy and malicious and just... And honestly, yeah, he is. Like, if anyone's actually straight up being this unreasonable about shit, then yeah, there's something wrong. But it's just... I really do feel it's just rich people trying to turn everyone against each other. Like, take the gay and straight people thing. There's no reason why gay people and straight people should have any problem with each other. Like, everyone should be able to coexist. I don't know. But, like I said, big issue with the whole feminism thing is just, let's be clear. There's a lot of men who go through life who are just being told over and over that they're everything wrong with society. You're having a group of people that are just being told all the time that everybody hates them and that this is wrong with them and that's wrong with them and they're unwanted and they're usually alone all the time and they have a severe lack of any positive reinforcement. They usually feel isolated and sort of ostracized. Not to mention you have many men who go through marriages who wind up getting divorced, and usually the man didn't do anything wrong. He didn't cheat on his wife. He didn't, do anything wrong. And the man, gets betrayed. He has his heart broken. He winds up probably a lot of situations, like mine, goes through a lot of, very abusive circumstances that are very psychologically not healthy. And usually you'll have a child who no longer lives with you, so you feel like you lost your child. And then, of course, as time goes on, you get more alienated, and it's just like the whole process is very heart-wrenching. And there's a lot of things that can be very dangerous. And there's lots of men who have actually just gone through a lot of worse situations than me, and many of them unalived themselves over the shit. There's a lot of people in those circumstances, they feel like they're all alone, and they feel like there is no help and no assistance for them. And they feel like everyone has betrayed them, and they feel abandoned. And they just feel like everything's hopeless and they're all alone. And I'm just saying that would be a very painful way to live life. But, yeah, I'm just saying in general, it's not good for society that for so many families to be broken up. I mean, it's not good for kids to either see parents that are fighting all the time or to have a family that's broken up. Ideally, you should have parents that are getting well along with each other and love each other and are healthy parents. But nowadays, I'm like, it's so rare to find people like that. You know? It's either the family's divorced and the mom and dad are split up and the child has basically had their family destroyed, or they stay together and the parents are just yelling and fighting with each other all the time and the kids just seeing that, and it's like neither one of those things are healthy for a kid. So my big thing is it's not good for society for like all these families to be broken up, and then for like there just be like this animosity where everyone like is hateful and fearful of each other. And I'll be the first to admit, to a large degree, my former marriage kind of ruined, to a large degree, women for me, or vaginas. Just because it just... And again, I don't hate women, it's just... One, I still do try to actually talk to and date women, and the answer is that's just constant rejection. And, well... that's disappointing, but honestly... probably for the best, because with the way the economy is lately, I am very worried about the future. I am very worried about the economy of the future. Or heck, we go to fucking World War III or some shit. But, yeah, it's to a large degree. I can ignore the psychological issue when it comes to just trying to, because sometimes I wouldn't even be planning it, just like I would see a girl and I'd just start flirting with her. Not that anything would ever come of it. Heck, I know one time I went to an Applebee's and there was this girl there. I started having a nice conversation with her. She even told me straight up she was autistic. She was like, I think late 20s or something, maybe 28 or something. Anyway, we have a nice conversation about like, Demon Slayer and I think Hunter x Hunter and Sailor Moon and a few other things. But then she wants to mention that she is gay and already has a wife. And then we and her talk for like another 10 or so minutes after that. And I tell her some more, anime suggestions like Bubblegum Crisis Tokyo 2040 that maybe her and her wife would like. And then we just, exchange, what's the opposite word of greetings? Farewells or whatever? And she tells me drive safe, and I don't think I've ever been to Applebee's since then. It was like a few months back or something. Half a year ago or something. I don't know. I don't keep track of that. I know I mentioned at some point in one of my community posts. But, yeah. Still, it was cool to talk to people. It's one good thing about the channel, it just lets me talk to people. But yeah, it's just... I don't know. And I do suggest, listening to people. Trying to think, what would be a good person to suggest? Off the top of my head, I don't know. Raging Golden Eagle. He covers a lot of stuff about, video games and stuff. But I think the main thing he brings up about the whole feminist thing is how, it messes with censorship in video games. And how, a lot of stuff is... certain video games are attacked because they're seen as, sexist or something. And so they want to change, translations, especially, from Japanese to English to try to make it more... politically correct. So the biggest thing is there is just an arguing against, political correctness. Everyone wants to just be offended about everything and argue with each other, and it's there's more important things than, what the anime girl called the anime dragon girl. Though for some reason this reminds me of Garagura. She may be like, my gat tail. I bring that up because you guys remember Street Sharks? They made toys for Taco Bell. And it was like, Street Sharks, great whites are always hungry. And it's like, yeah, there's a commercial still available on YouTube. It's from in the 90s. And everyone said, what the fuck? So I'm like, I might have ADHD. I don't know. I've never actually been tested for ADHD or autism. I don't know if that's a thing. Then again, I've been hit by a truck. I've been isekai'd. I remember getting hit by a truck going 75 miles an hour. I couldn't move my left arm for a couple months. All my ribs are as bruised as possible without being broken. I hope. I don't think they were broken. They were very fucking bruised. I had a dozen plus staples on the left side of my skull. And I think from my waist down to my toes, everything was covered in purple and black bruises. So I had some Vicodin for a little bit, but even then it took me about a minute to go from sitting down just to sitting up where I was laying in bed. So even with the Vicodin, I was still in terrible pain. I remember going to the junkyard to look at my car, and I'm like looking at my airbag, and I'm like, what kind of fucking dumbass fucking decorates an airbag? Ooh, look, I made a red airbag with a little bit of white accents. And then it takes me a moment to realize, the red is my blood. There is more red on this than there is white. Like, almost the entire airbag is just painted with my fucking blood. And it's just like, there's more red than there is white. And I'm like, oh, right, it's a white airbag just covered with my fucking blood. So that car was basically like, I was in a fairly small vehicle, and I got T-boned right into the driver's side. Thankfully, nobody else in the car. Then again, I've also had fevers like 106, like on a dozen times, like 107 once. Been poisoned, been exposed to gas fumes, breathed powdered metal, powdered paint, been forced to eat my own vomit. I've been in negative 6 degrees Fahrenheit, freezers for very prolonged periods of time, exposed to multiple types of just molds and shit and asbestos and crap. Also had meningitis and encephalitis. So I had swelling of the brain and swelling of the spinal cord. So I had 3 days in the ICU of them pumping me full of chemicals to prevent me from dying. That was unpleasant. So was the fucking spinal tap. Needles in your fucking spine hurt. And they suck. Especially the headaches that it causes. That fucking sucked. Then again, like 10 months ago, I had fucking bladder surgery. Thankfully, it was a less invasive one. The original thing they wanted me to do, I was like, fuck that. Put it off as long as possible. And everyone's like, why'd you bother getting a bladder surgery? You didn't want to do it. Because if I didn't, eventually my bladder would have sealed itself off, and then my internal organs would have exploded, and that would have killed me. And death is very inconvenient. I may be depressed, but I don't want to die, and I appreciate my life. Okay? I just have numerous depression issues I'm working through. I'm at least trying to work on them, as well as my physical health, which is not improving because I'm still fucking fat and my arms are still skinny as fuck. Heck, I feel like it's like my ass is getting smaller, my biceps are getting smaller, my dick is getting smaller, my stomach is getting bigger, my cardio is getting worse. Every time I try to work out, I injure myself in some way. I am 5 foot 11 inches, and I'm currently 216 pounds. And I don't know if I can fucking change that. Also, I'm not rich, and I work in factories. And I'm ugly. And it's like, well, why do you have such terrible luck with relationships, Lunar? I'm ugly as fuck. I mean, I don't really have, like, there's nothing disfigured or wrong with my face. It's just, I am very unaesthetically pleasing in terms of my body and face. So in general, I am just not likable. Heck, maybe my personality's not likable either. I don't know. Heck, if we're gonna have like a misogynistic sort of rant, watch my Let's Play of Chaos Head Noah. I think in terms of just the video game stuff and all that, he's definitely very similar to me. It's just, at times he does kind of come off as kind of pervy and misogynistic. Who knows? Maybe people see me that way too. That's fine. I really don't care what people think of me. You know? Or at least as a whole. I don't mind if like everyone fucking hates me. I would like if there was at least a couple IRL people that fucking liked me. Like I said, I'm concerned about my parents eventually just hating me if, like, being openly bi. But again, right now, main reason for not even bothering with that is, well, I have other stuff I have to worry about financially right now, and trying to improve my health a bit more before I get to that point. And even then, I'm like, well, my depression's kind of bad. I'm like, I don't know if I should even bother dating. Maybe I'll just stick to listening to the fucking Neko Catgirl Femboy ASMR and cuddle a fucking pillow. And everyone's like, I don't know if this is supposed to be funny. I don't know. We're trying to be hilarious here. I don't know if it's funny. What kind of comedy do you call this? Terrible? I don't know. Everyone, welcome to Lunar D8's Misogyny Happy Hour. Listen to me say the most misogynistic, evil things possible. Trying to think of something misogynistic to say. The worst thing I can really say is that, hey, I think male domestic violence victims, that maybe, you know, people shouldn't, you know, treat them like they're bad people or just failures or pussies. Like, oh, you were abused or mistreated by a woman. You must have either been beating her or you're just a complete fucking pussy. It's like, great, that's nice. It's totally not like I feel depressed or personally offended at the lack of fucking empathy or the straight up fucking betrayal by someone I trusted, or the fact that it turned out that somebody initially, that when I married them I thought I would feel safe with, turned out to be someone I'd be fucking scared of, who even tried to murder me in my sleep a few times, and even attacked me on a Christmas. I have a 3-inch fucking scar on my right arm to remember my last Christmas we married my ex-wife by, and that she was just in general, well, yeah, she was criminally negligent and abusive to our child. But hey, my son lives with his grandparents on his maternal side. I pay the child support to them. I see him as much as I could. I mean, granted, once COVID happened, I mean, we had a couple years there of him coming over on the weekends, and then the COVID pandemic shit happened, and then lockdowns, and then I wasn't really seeing him as much anymore. And then as a way of coping with my emotional stress of suddenly not being able to see my child anymore, I made a YouTube channel so I could have a place to talk without a filter, because I was very isolated thanks to the fucking COVID pandemic and still very psychologically wounded by everything, and then wasn't, you know, having my son over because of the fucking pandemic, and I was very sad. That, and I've always had a love of Let's Plays, back when YouTube first started, way back in the old days where no one was monetized and there were no ads on YouTube. 99% of the human population didn't know what a YouTube was. I don't think Markiplier had ever even made his YouTube account at that time. I remember watching Ultra J-Man playing I Want to Be the Guy, and Battle Kid 1, Fortress of Peril, Battle Kid 2, Mountain of Torment, Bonesaw. Heck, he did a co-op playthrough of a game called How to Be a Complete Bastard. I know, right? That's a catchy fucking title. How to Be a Complete fucking Bastard. It's a tutorial game. Ultra J-Man and Rom Scout played that shit together. Great shit. Hilarious. Mainly their reactions to stuff. Then you had Proton John, Don't Eat the Mushroom Part 2, which makes you think of Zentreya. You guys ever see the VTuber Zentreya? Think her, Shia Lily, Sare, Gargura. Yeah, tons of other pretty cool people. It's hilarious. Heck, Asmongold's pretty hilarious. Let's do. You guys ever hear of Asmongold? He's cool. Heck, what else we got? Fucking screenshot for this thumbnail is just gonna be, hey, look, it's a naked guy. We'll just label this the fucking yaoi episode where Lunar has like misogyny speak. It's like, welcome to the misogyny video. I'm here with my roommate Alex Jones, Andrew Tate. I'm trying to think of someone else that either is a, because we have the super strong conspiracy theory dude, and then we have the guy who's legitimately, like, here's the thing. I can understand some people want to do the men's rights discussions thing because it's concerned like, hey, there's men who get divorced over nothing and then they lose their children or they're victims of domestic violence, and I'm like, nobody cares about those people. It's like there's men who are victims of domestic violence. There are men who have their children taken away. Heck, there's men who are physically assaulted by women. And yes, even if a woman's physically weaker than a man, she like runs at him with like a fucking knife or some shit. Knives are sharp. You know, those are dangerous. Though I'll tell you this. You know, my 3-inch scar is not from a knife. It's from fingernails. She dug the fucking hand into my fucking arm. Any deeper, it would have actually needed fucking stitches. I still try to make that marriage work, by the way. I'll tell you this. I'm still grateful I was married, and I'll still tell you this. The happiest day of my entire life was the day my son was born. I love my son very much, and I'm very proud of him. I'll always love him and always be there for him, but lately we're kind of alienated from each other because that's kind of what happens after divorces. Granted, I still see him technically more than his mother does, since her own parents are scared of her. Then again, I am too, honestly. I feel like if she was suddenly at my door, I would call 911 for the police to get here. Because I would feel that fucking scared of her. Which is weird, because I married her, because I, loved her and trusted her, and even then there was other awkward situations going on with that, which, again, I've already explained in full detail. It just sucks to have somebody that you trusted and you thought you felt safe with to become somebody that only tells lies and who is someone you're actively scared of. Like, I feel like I would place her in like the cater class of SCPs. Like, I would feel. Then again, I mean, I don't think it really matters much. Like, apparently I'm an easily jump scared person. I fucking about had a heart attack playing like the HoloLive Cure Error game, where like Corone, the most adorable, cute person on the fucking planet, jump scared me in a fucking subway car or some shit. I literally was shaking after that. I even clipped that fucking shit. It's like one of the 5 clips I made, though I don't know how to like make it into its own separate playlist or anything. It's just, hey, here's an unlabeled link that goes to, hey, me being jump scared by Corone. It's a Japanese dog VTuber girl. Literally the most adorable, cute person you ever see. In every way. No confidence! I can't do an impression worth of shit. But I was literally shaking after that. Again, I was still back when I was working the previous job where I was like ingesting like 1,000 milligrams of caffeine a day. Not the worst job I was at. It was the one with the electrostatic and the paint and stuff. And I worked a lot of shitty jobs. It's funny. I graduated 4.0 honors diploma from my high school. Did like calculus, physics, and chemistry. Had straight A's. Had like an IQ of like 132. Granted, I'm pretty sure all the concussions and blows to the head and high fevers and swelling in the brain and being hit by a fucking truck and getting isekai'd probably might have hindered that. Also, the prolonged depression. Or the fact that I haven't done like the math stuff and such forever. Like, I feel like just basic math would be difficult for me now. Or maybe just like I've just become autistic and ADHD since then. I don't know. It's just the way I talk about things. But then again, it's like, I think it's just like a lot of repressed like emotions and thoughts. Like, most of my life, I didn't talk about shit. I bottled up all my feelings, especially from like all of the abuse that happened in school and the stuff that happened outside of school that I'm basically never going to fucking talk about anyone. Anyway, just saying, that kind of stuff bothers you. Anyway. Around 14-ish years ago, some additional stuff happening, like my elder sister dying of a brain aneurysm. I mean, technically she was alive for a couple days, in a bed, brain dead, until we pulled the plug, and then again, there was other stuff going on with my sister where she had like multiple miscarriages before that. I'll say this, seeing people carrying a tiny fucking white marble baby casket with a dead baby in it, that's... I mean, not just normal miscarriages. She had literally 3 babies that were born to her that died like the day it was born. The 4th child lived, but that was not too long before she herself died. So, but during that less than a year, she did her best to be the best mom in the world. And then she became a vegetable. And I felt not the best about that. My mom took that very hard. Heck, there was a preacher who said to my mom, I assume as a way of trying to comfort her, saying it's all part of God's plan. She was at least verbally out loud about, wanting to kick his fucking ass for saying that. But I felt like I was thinking it too. It's just... It's just that, and there was some other stuff going on there. Plus, I actually went through a really bad breakup at that time. There was somebody I was... probably the healthiest relationship I ever had. Originally a woman I was probably going to marry, but honestly, looking back to stuff I know about that person now, long afterward, especially as this other stuff found out afterward, that honestly, for the best, I didn't marry that person. But that was probably the healthiest relationship in, and that one went badly. It's just that and other things, and it was just... I talked my friends' ears off because emotionally I just felt like at my limit. So my response to extreme stress was just to talk to people, to talk about my feelings. That's one thing I do try to, stress to people with my channel. Granted, my channel is mainly focused on, Let's Plays and comedy and stuff, but I also like read books and karaoke. Even though I'm terrible at singing, but I like singing. It's fun for me. I enjoy it. Heck, I want to learn German. I try to sing some German videos. But it's just... Fuck. I don't feel I'm good at singing, and I don't feel I'm doing good at learning German. I do eventually want to learn how to speak German, and Japanese, and French, and Hebrew. But it's just... Fuck, it's just... But yeah, that's apparently my reaction to this. I just want to talk about things, and heck, I do that a lot of times now. It's like a blog, and I just talk about things, or I have community posts, or I like schizo posts, where I just talk about stuff from the Bible, because, well... I am very religious, and I am a very strong believer in Christ. But here's the thing. One, I'm also of the opinion that hell itself is unjustifiable, that torture, murder, cruelty, any sort of sadistic stuff is immoral. Heck, I use stuff like the video game Demonophobia and the movie Hellraiser as sort of like thought experiments or psychological case studies. As sort of like my argument, to prove that, hey, torture is wrong. Hell is wrong. It's unjustifiable. It's disgusting. And the idea is that, a lot of people are like, oh, out of sight, out of mind. It's just, like, you have no idea how the amount of preachers I've talked to who would never watch, like, a Nightmare on Elm Street movie. But they think hell is perfectly justifiable. How? How is it justifiable to condemn anyone to an eternity of torture? Let alone someone for just like a difference of opinion, or because they ate bacon or some shit, or because they liked the wrong person. I mean, heck, condemning someone for being gay is like, is that really that far off from just condemning someone because they like someone of the wrong skin color? Like, seriously, what the fuck? It's just... Heck, I even suggested that game to DVR Maniac 007 way back when. Heck, the Proton John guy was talking about the Don't Eat the Mushroom thing with Centria. Like, heck, she even had a Bowsette skin at one point for a VTuber outfit. Very sexy. I like Bowsette. Now, grandly, ideally, I think I would like Futanari Bowsette. But hey, we all know I'm weird. But it's just, yeah, Proton John did a lot of, like, it was back before Mario Wii. It was just back before Mario Maker. And he did a lot of Mario ROM hacks back in the era of Kaizo Mario. I think the program for the Mario stuff was called Lunar Magic. Heck, there was also a dude named Zeta Plays. I suggested him the game Dragon Spirit, the New Legend. Heck, there was a Sir Eldrick IV. I suggested him Kid Chameleon. Heck, I remember Zakana 13 at one point played a Mega Man Legends. I still want Mega Man Legends 3 and Brave Fencer Musashi 3. I can give you guys tons of suggestions for awesome bands and video games. I'm trying not to go too much and shit, but it's just like, it's just fuck. But I really did enjoy the old school YouTube stuff. Like, nobody fucking knew shit about YouTube. 99% of the population didn't even know what a YouTube was. And the people that did know what YouTube was, it was either Let's Players or people make YouTube poops. A YouTube poop is like a bridge series like Team 4-Star, but much lower quality. And much, more random. Heck, Gozar made a Team 4-Star's alternate reality Dragon Ball Z abridged. Did like 100 plus episodes, but it's just one dude. And it's funny, but it's a lot more juvenile and vulgar in the humor. And it's like Team 4-Star, but completely like autistic and ADHD, which I don't know if that makes it sound good or bad, but I think it's awesome and I think it's hilarious. And that Takahata from Team 4-Star actually did some stuff with him for a couple things to try, like, before the Nappa death thing occurred. So way back early, like we're talking like 15 plus years ago or some shit. Heck, I remember freelance astronauts, Maxwell Adams, freelance astronauts doing a 4-player co-op difficulty Super Mario Wii or Pepsi Man. You had Seaman. It was a game with Leonard Nimoy from Star Trek talking to you about shrimp and like radioactive fish that hate your soul. And then you had worms, where it's like these little worm guys that shoot like rockets at each other. It's hilarious. And you had Prototype and Mass Effect with tons of mods and a bunch of Zelda stuff. It's hilarious. Granted, some immature humor at times, but honestly, I kind of like it. It kind of sucks the way everyone has to like dance around what they fucking say nowadays to like, oh, we don't want to offend somebody. I'm like, how about we just have cool comedy, Heck, I think Rob Schneider did a interview where he's talking about like, yeah, a lot of times like the woke stuff is just bigotry and intolerance dressed up as manners or politeness or some shit. It's dishonesty, and it's just people wanting to be rude and bully each other. They're just using the guise of being a victim to attack people. And it's just, not only is it dishonest, but it's literally straight up fucking vicious. And it's whole purpose, it seems to like just squash free speech. But back to the hell thing, it's like, one, not only do I think hell is unjustifiable and it's fucked up and wrong. Next off, I think there is no sin in people being gay or trans. Now, granted, I think people should be older before they make such a decision. Like, I would say people should make the decision on whether or not they're gay till like 15. And people should make a decision on whether or not they're trans till 17 and shouldn't take hormones till 19. And in general, I'm against, the gender-affirming surgeries. I'm against people, mutilating, because that's how I see it. But again, other people's bodies are their own. If people are adults and they want to make those decisions, then that's their choice. But I still feel the need to express how I personally feel. Heck, I'm circumcised, and so is my son. But as I've gotten older, my view on that has changed, and now I'm anti-circumcision, where I feel people shouldn't get circumcisions. I'm against the idea of people removing or damaging, genitals. But again, adults can make their own choices, and I'm not about to really want to tell somebody else what to do with their body. That being said, I don't want people trying to pressure little children to be involved in sexual stuff. It's like those gay pride parades. Yes, it's good that we have people being proud of who they are as a person, but you shouldn't be naked in front of children. There shouldn't be like little 8-year-olds there seeing your cock gyrate as you're like walking naked down the fucking street in public. Like, there's like multiple extremes. You have the people walking completely fucking naked, and then you have groups of people that are just like completely covering their body as if they're hiding from the sun. Whether it's, standards of some sort of morality for them, or that is like, and again, different cultures, that's fine. But it's just like, I feel like we have two groups of people that are radical extremes trying to force their views on other people. Now, granted, I talk about stuff online, but again, the internet is the internet. It's a place where only adults should be, and it's a place where people can have free, open discussion so that we can grow as a society. It's like Socrates, or Plato, or Aristotle, or Diogenes, or Rene Descartes. The idea is that people should be able to have open discussions with one another where we are all polite and civil and respectful of each other and treat each other with courtesy, and we all act with decorum, and we're all just trying to have a normal conversation with each other. That way we can learn and grow from each other. And of course, some people are just not going to get along with each other, at which point then, if there's nothing to gain from the conversation with people, then you stop having a conversation with them, and you move on to more productive means, whether it's having a conversation with somebody who does care or just playing your guitar. Another thing, because I choke on fucking water. Another thing is that I try to encourage people, like, it's good for people to talk about their feelings. Now, granted, I'll say this, like, in real life, I don't really talk much at all. I feel I'm fairly good at being sociable, but I really don't have very much opportunities to be sociable. And, well, most time in real life, I don't really talk to people much. And even when I do have actual conversations with people, in general, I tend to do much more listening than I do talking. And I tend to avoid talking too much. I tend to be very short and to the point with what I say, which is kind of the opposite of what I'm doing here. And I try to stay on the subject of, I use the person I'm talking to as a sounding board to stay on a certain subject. The other thing being is that I'll avoid talking about personal things or feelings or anything personally bad with me, and I'll tend to talk more about the other person and their things, or about happy things. I tend to avoid talking about personal things. I tend to avoid talking about things, and I tend to be a very non-confrontational person. I tend to be a very easygoing, laid-back person. That's one thing. Like, I tend to be the person that just is very chill and relaxed, and just, I'm the kind of person that is usually very quiet and very easy to get along with. And I can usually try to adapt to whatever people I'm around to have a conversation that is one that they would be comfortable with. And if I enjoy the conversation, I'll keep having a conversation with them. If I'm not, or it becomes something confrontational, then I'll just try to politely excuse myself and just go away from it because, well, that's just not fun for me and I don't like that. So why would I be, engaged in something like that when, like, in general, I don't like people that are aggressive or very rude or very, like, disrespectful or seem like they're wanting to attack people. So I'll tend to just, okay, that's how that is. I'll probably just avoid you now. And heck, sometimes I'll listen to various people that can be a bit confrontational about things on YouTube because I feel like it's a nice way to listen to this stuff to try to understand, okay, how do people debate? How do people have these discussions? Like, it's almost like a college professor giving a class on how to be assertive. So it's like, I'm treating it like a self-help book sort of thing, if that makes any sense to anybody. But the idea is I want to encourage people to express themselves, that as long as you're not hurting yourself and not hurting anyone else, I think it's important for people to be able to express themselves. And I believe in things like the Hippocratic Oath, do no harm, but also respect free will. And in general, I want everyone, I would like it if, like, I'm fairly anti-war, and like I said, I just rather just be chill and just, heck, I'd like to go to bike trails and walk around. I try to encourage people to talk about their feelings. Now, granted, yes, it's good to talk about your feelings, but not to everybody, because there are some people that either don't know, don't care, don't want to hear it, or might actively use your feelings against you as a weapon later down the line in the future. So ideally, anyone listening to this, if you need to talk to somebody, I would suggest family, friends, boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, whoever you'd feel would care. And if you have no one, then, well, maybe you could start a YouTube channel. Maybe you could do what I do. I talk to stuffed animals. I know when my son initially moved out, I sometimes spent about 3 hours a day sitting in his room talking to his stuffed animals, which honestly sounds worse than it is, because in general, I've talked to stuffed animals my whole life. What can I say? In general, I tend to be a very lonely person who needs to talk to people. And as time has gone on, especially after the whole COVID thing, so it seems like after the fucking pandemic, everyone got much more antisocial, and everyone as a whole is harder to, have friends or meet anybody. Then again, maybe I'm just paranoid and jaded. Then again, I would say as a whole, I feel like society itself got more, I don't know, like everyone's more divisive, like everyone's more aggressive, like everyone's more like, I don't know, us versus men mentality, where like no one wants to sit and listen to each other calmly, and everything's got to be some sort of battle. And it's like, I just want to chill and play Magic the Gathering. Can we co-op play Halo 3 and drink some do Code Red? Like, you know, chill, guys. Fuck. But then I'm the kind of person, like, I'd like to go walking on bike trails. Heck, I think it was about a couple months back, I got lost in thought, and I went walking way too far. In total, I spent 23 miles walking on that fucking bike trail. I was limping on the way back. I was dying. Not even an exaggeration. I was dying of dehydration. And I was so badly fucking sunburnt. And I was dizzy and basically struggling not to pass out on the way back. There were fucking bicyclists passing me by. I could see fucking 2 to 3 bottles of water on their fucking bicycles. You're bicycling past a dude that you literally see is limping and noticeably super red from the sun. You can tell he has no water. You can tell I'm wobbling and struggling to not pass out. You can even tell like I'm breathing hard because like I'm out of breath and I'm like my body can't handle it. Like I am in pain, I am exhausted, I am dehydrated, I am sunburnt very badly. And you're all going past me with like 3 bottles of fucking water. Like you're on bicycles. Why is no one stopping to ask me how I am? I am literally dying. Now again, nobody fucking helped. But I eventually, got off the bike trail, and I think I literally guzzled about 2 gallons of water that day. And I think I was half limping at least for a solid week after that. Oh my god, that fucking hurt. And I peeled so fucking bad from that sunburn. Heck, the back of my neck was the part that was sunburnt the absolute worst. Granted, my arms were burnt, my face was burnt. But the back of my neck is still discolored from this fucking sunburn. Like, I hope I'm not gonna get, like, fucking skin cancer from how fucking badly that was sunburned. Like, it definitely peeled a couple times, and after that, it's still, like, completely the fucking wrong shade of color for the type of skin I have. So, like, I don't know if, like, I'm just gonna be sunburnt there for the rest of my entire fucking life. Like, do I have a permanent skin condition now? Am I gonna have fucking skin cancer on the top of my fucking spine where it connects to my, the bottom of my neck vertebrae now? And everyone's like, don't make such a big deal. Like, I'm just saying, it's the wrong color. My skin is the wrong color. Like, granted, the lower parts of my arms are darker than the rest of my arms, my body, like where I'm pale like a fucking ghost. But it's like I go from farmer tan, pale Casper ghost, and then the back of my neck, it's like, honestly, I'm concerned about if I'm going to have cancer later. I'm just saying, maybe my own fault for not bringing water or sunblock, but still. Main point I'm just saying is real life, I don't really talk too much to people. And when I do, here's the thing. I don't express feelings very much. People sometimes feel that I don't have inflections and tone in my voice, and that I'm too flat in my delivery of things. And also, there are people that have literally felt that I don't have emotions or feelings. Which is funny, because I'm pretty sure I've cried every fucking day of my entire life in private. Just lay in the dark, listening to nightcore music on my bed. Nightcore music is pretty awesome. Or some Metallica or something, I'm just saying. But in real life, I don't really, cry in front of people. Or really talk about emotions or really show feelings very well. I mean, I'll be smiling and stuff. Heck, been depressed for the longest time and everyone thinks I'm super happy and cheerful. But it's just, people literally have thought I don't have thoughts. They don't have, well, probably that too, honestly. Because I don't talk too deeply about certain things because they're personal and I don't want to. It's just, yes, I want to talk about things, but not to a lot of people. There's a lot of people that, honestly, I would not feel comfortable talking to. But, I mean, they feel I don't have feelings or emotions. Because I'm not overly expressive on that shit. I tend to behave in a very stoic manner, IRL. Oh. But it's just, fuck. But yeah, it's just, I just, I don't know. Like the hell thing. Another thing is this. I believe in God, I believe in Jesus, but I don't think there's anything wrong with people not believing in God. I don't think anybody should be punished in this life or the next for who they do or do not believe in. Because at that point, okay, the idea... Because here's the thing. I'll say this. I'm not saying non-believers can't go to heaven. I'm just saying no one goes to heaven except through Christ. At the end of the day, God knows the minds and hearts. God is a God of truth, and God is a God of, I would say, fairness and of compassion and righteousness. I couldn't see God punishing people for having a difference of opinion. I don't think anyone should be punished in, life by like governments or churches and shit for not believing in God, or for believing in a God or believing in the wrong God. People have a right to have their own, as long as you're not, advocating for hurting people. Now, maybe if you're like, oh, so-and-so God has declared that we need to, declare war to conquer the world or some shit, and then we need to, like, enslave people or some crap, then yeah, that's an issue that, people, then in general, war shouldn't exist. I understand there's sometimes where it's unavoidable, maybe defense or stuff. Obviously, if you get attacked, you should be able to defend yourself. And usually you have to use greater retaliation force, respond in greater force than what you were hit with. I can understand that, but it should never be an unprovoked thing. It should always be in self-defense. Or against an aggressor that has made it where there's no other option. But in general, I'm like, why can't we all just, play Halo together and no one would ever hurt each other? I just don't think people should be punished in this life or the next for who they do or don't believe in. And in general, I don't think the idea of hell is wrong, and I don't think there's anything wrong with people being, gay or trans. As long as you're an adult, I think you should be able to make the choice to, love who you want to love. That being said, yeah, there should be concerns about certain things, at certain ages of things, but again, that should be an issue of that family should be able to be more involved, that people should have support structures, that people should have people that care about them. Like, it should never be an issue where, like, the government is involved in people's individual lives. Like, the government shouldn't have, like, this overarching power like they are God themselves. Like, people should have the final arbitrating say of what happens in their life. And people should be able to lead happy lives and fulfilling lives. And people should be able to just, not feel like the government's listening to everything they say or controlling everything they do. And not to sound like conspiracy theory shit, but it's more so just saying, hey, maybe we shouldn't get taxed so much. Maybe people should be able to own homes. Maybe, people should have families or friends, or just people should have support structures. They should have people that care about them or something. I'll say this, I at least try to encourage people that it's more important to talk about your feelings. That it's a good way to work with depression. Obviously, though, it's no replacement for, like, say, seeing a doctor or a psychiatrist or a therapist. You probably should see all three, honestly. And if the doctor thinks you might need some sort of medication, that's, something to consider. But again, I think the biggest problem with that is a lot of times either that stuff's expensive, or there's concern that, hey, what if, like, something happens and you, like, lose your insurance and then you wouldn't be able to take the stuff anymore. That's the sort of stuff that you can't just stop taking once you take it. And then, of course, like me, myself, I'm very against the idea of being dependent on a chemical, because one, I don't want to be reliant on it, because again, what happens if I can't afford it? What happens if, say, I would lose insurance? What would happen then? I mean, that stuff can be dangerous, if you suddenly stop taking it. Beyond that, again, it should also be perhaps a last resort. Like, you should try to find other things before getting to that, but of course that's a discussion for you and your doctors. And again, like, I know I've expressed views on things with people with far as what medications they should take or hormones. And again, particularly hormones are fine. I'd say like 19. I understand some people might take it a little earlier, but again, I would say I would want people to at least be past that point in puberty. So not only are they fully adults and had time to think about things, but also the idea that if you take it too early, there are concerns that would cause issues of internal organs or your skeletal structure. So, and again, that's the sort of stuff, like, our medical technology is not exactly that advanced, so that I just don't want people to get hurt. But at the end of the day is this: I can't say I know what's best for anyone. All I can say is that it's best if people had more emotional support structures. And I know I've said that multiple times, but I think it's very important to say. People should have family and friends they can rely on. But I'll say this: even if you don't have anyone to talk to that you can trust, just pace your living room and talk to yourself. At the very minimum, it will help you have better self-reflection on yourself, and it will help you to understand yourself better. It also might be a good brainstorming session for you to think of solutions for whatever problems you're facing. And it's also a good way to vent any sort of angry thoughts. So especially if you're wanting to talk to somebody, like your parents or something, you feel upset about certain things, you can vent your agitations on things so that if you do talk to them later, you can do so in a much more calm way. That way, you can have greater control over your emotions. And then it's like, you might not feel that way in general talking to most people, but with certain people, like family members, it's going to affect you a little stronger because these people are special to you. They're your family. It matters to you. It's a big deal to you. These are people that you want to love you, people that you want to be proud of you, people whose reaction to you actually means a lot. Because, fuck the random person on the street. What they think about you doesn't fucking matter. But if it's your family member, well, that's someone you actually care about, and someone, you've known for years, and someone that, their approval and them caring about you and them accepting you, it means a lot. So it's going to be a lot more emotionally a bit of a roller coaster for you. So it's better to be able to vent some of the more extreme sense of your, agitation with how you feel about things, so that you can talk in a more calm way to people. Because then you wouldn't want to yell at certain people, but you're still very emotionally upset about those things. I feel like there's probably multiple things I was talking about, but it's like a don't have a person as a sounding board, so I'm just kind of going all over the place. Heck, imagine if I had like an AI companion who was like listening to what I said and could keep track of where we were in the conversation. I feel AI in general would be good. I just feel that it's gonna, like, I made a video on once talking about like the AI is the greatest virtue. AI is like the greatest danger of AI is the greatest virtue of humanity, and that is free will allows a great spectrum and very complex nature, if not paradoxical nature, when it comes to personalities and intellects. Like, people, especially myself, can have very unique ways of looking at the world that on their surface either look like a paradox or look like they're completely incompatible with each other. Or maybe that's just a good way to describe me being mentally unwell. That I'm, the instability is the fact that I hold multiple different sets of values that I've just sort of smashed together to make them work. Like, I'm a very strong, devout Christian, but I also believe that there's no sin in being gay. I have spent a lot of time reading the Bible to basically go by both logic and, just common sense of the Bible to basically rationalize that that's okay. And of course, other people wouldn't understand or wouldn't straight up agree with it. But Again, it's a very long, complicated discussion, and the end of the day is this. I love who I love. I like what I like. I am allowed to date people even if they're not of the gender that, the preachers want me to date. There is nothing wrong with me dating, like, someone like, say, a line chew. If I want to date like a femboy or a bishonen or a guy or a futanari or whoever. And everyone's like, what do you mean by futanari? Simply put, I'm against the idea of the surgery things, but also I like dick. So, basically, it'd be a trans woman who has zero gender dysphoria about having a penis and balls. Basically, a trans woman who identifies as a woman, has feminine face, feminine body, is a woman, but also has cock and ball. Because like I said, you can still be a woman and have that. Again, I know some people disagree with that. That's fine. You're not dating that person. That's fine. Don't worry about it. You're not dating that person. It doesn't involve you. I understand there's other people who would be technically, air quotes, LGBT, who are very pushy about the stuff, wanting to push their fucking shit on other people. I understand those people are pretentious and they're assholes. And they're usually spitting on people and threatening people. And those people are assholes. I agree. It's fucking wrong for people to want to force their way of beliefs on others and to threaten them with violence over it. Regardless of what your beliefs are, you shouldn't be trying to force your beliefs on others via violence. I mean, unless the people you're trying to stop are, like, literally trying to hurt other people. Like, unless you're coming across people that, like their belief is they want to, like, kill puppies or something. Then it's like, okay, don't kill puppies, because puppies are cute. I don't know. Why has my discussion become the John Wick defense? What the fuck? Main point being is this. I'm not trying to push. Like, here's the thing. Yes, I like futanari. I like imagine Bowsette. Like, imagine like it's a beautiful woman with nice titties, but also she has cock and balls. That's who I want to date. I'm not going to force other people to date that kind of person. And I'm not going to, like, force other people to be involved in that. At the end of the day is this. I don't hate anyone. I just want to live my peaceful life in a world that is not World War III, that has a decent enough economy where I don't have to worry about potentially being homeless one day, and I just want a beautiful futanari waifu to play Halo 3 with me, and then maybe walk on the bike trail with me, and who would legitimately care about me as a person, and be doting over me. And everyone's like, what does doting mean? I'm like, get a fucking dictionary! Same way decorum. Look up decorum. That's a big thing to me too. But main point is this. Doting is someone who is uncritical of you, unjudgmental, who is accepting of you, who is kind to you, who respects you, who loves and cares about you. Basically, I would just want someone who cares about me, accepts me, is kind to me, actually likes me, finds me attractive, enjoys being affectionate with me, and just legitimately cares about my thoughts and feelings. Someone who is both my best friend and somebody I could, like, take showers with and walk on the trail and cuddle with and, be someone who legitimately cares about me and is kind to me and who would never hurt me under any circumstance. Someone I would actually feel safe around and who wouldn't betray my trust in terms of, well, every way, whether it's, not cheating on me or not yelling at me, not calling me horrible names or garbage, or trying to murder me in my sleep, or... Heck, like I said, got a 3-inch scar on my right arm from Christmas, and we're all wide awake for that shit. My 2-year-old son's playing with his Christmas presents. He was fun. He was happy. It was Christmas. She was annoyed at the noises he was making. He was too loud, apparently, or some shit. I don't fucking know. Then she starts just screaming, cussing, yelling, picking up his toys to her hands, breaking them in her hands, slamming his toys against the wall, kicking some of his toys hard enough to break his toys. Obviously, the 2-year-old is sad at this. Starts, like, walking towards his mom a little bit. I step in between. I tell her to please calm down, to please just stop. Then she attacks me. She stopped when she saw the blood. I made that marriage work for another 6 months. partly because, well, my son was also having to have ear surgery recently, and also other stuff going on. Heck, I had been hospitalized about a few months before that for the swelling of the brain thing, for the meningitis and encephalitis and spinal issues and the brain stuff too, so that almost killed me. Then, of course, like I said, stuff got worse from there because, well, of course it did. And like I said, lots of very bad things occurred, which I've already talked to in depth in other videos or in community posts. Eventually, adultery and her divorcing me for another person, and my son living with his grandparents as the only way to make sure that basically his mother didn't harm him or just disappear with him to never be seen again. And then his corpse just buried in some unmarked field somewhere. Which I can't ever tell him about this stuff because honestly it would probably be very psychologically damaging to him. At the end of the day, it's just like the whole COVID pandemic made it where he was coming over on the weekends, and then the COVID pandemic happened, and then and then my son wasn't coming over anymore, and it's like, okay, I'm not feeling the greatest emotionally about this, and there's nothing I can do about it. But okay, I'm gonna start a YouTube channel because I remember watching YouTube Let's Plays in the past. I always wanted to do Let's Plays, and I do enjoy making the Let's Plays, but now it's like, hey, listen to Lunar talk about personal stuff. Like, I don't know, how I can't ride a bicycle because I have a terrible sense of balance. But unless I'm never going to monetize this channel, I have no interest in monetize this channel. I'm against it. I'm actively against it. Though I don't know why YouTube would ever want to monetize me. But as far as I'm concerned, even if I had 1 million subscribers, I am never monetizing the channel. I have never made a cent off this. I never will. I'm never going to have super chats. I'm never going to have, merchandise. This isn't a business. I'm not a fucking brand. I'm just a guy who likes video games, likes anime, likes karaoke, likes to read books, and in general, just a lonely person that needs to talk to people, so I'm just going to ramble and rant at my fucking computer screen. And I don't care that I could definitely use money due to financial concerns, but I don't want this to be about it. And again, there's nothing wrong with other people making money off YouTube. That's good for them. That's great for them. I think that's awesome for them. But it's just, that's not for me. I don't want to. I feel like it would taint this. It would make it about ooh, I have to make a video to get this many views to pay my electricity or some shit. No, I just want a place to be able to talk. And that's the thing, I want to encourage other people to express their emotions, or to do things. I want to encourage people hey, if you're going depression or whatever, if you have family or friends you can talk to, that's good. If you can talk to a doctor or a therapist or a psychiatrist, that's good. If you need antidepressants, that's understandable. Just make sure, talk to your doctor. You guys have fully discussed how that stuff works, because that stuff, again, you should have that fully discussed with a doctor. I also think it'd be good to go to the gym. Now, of course, it should only supplement your life. It shouldn't take over your life. And also, don't get hurt. Don't hurt yourself in the gym. But definitely it would be good, maybe concerned about your diet. Maybe go to the gym regularly. Now, granted, I am very negative of myself because I feel like I'm making no progress. And I want very much to make progress. And I feel like I'm just a failure at everything in life. And I just keep not making any improvements. And so I feel like I am just worthless and terrible at everything, but that's maybe a bit of a negative self-outlook thing. And in general, positive self-outlook is very mentally healthy for you. It's just something I'm a bit struggling with. I think I've gotten better with it. Obviously a little bit more work to be done there, but I think I've improved. In general, I think things like ASMR, and of course there's different types of ASMR. There's some that's just relaxing little noises, and there's some that's outright sexual. But there's also some that's positive affirmations. And while, yes, taking action on things is very important, that being said, your own self-talk to yourself is very important on shaping how you feel about things. And maybe it would be beneficial to you to listen to an ASMR where either it's a video of someone telling you positive compliments and affirmations to maybe improve your own self-talk to yourself. Think of it like cognitive behavior therapy. Just affordable. And then there's also the idea of it could be not an outright lewd thing, because those do exist, but more so just maybe someone just role-playing caring about you and saying that they love you and they care about you and they ask you how your day is and stuff like that. I know that sounds lame and pathetic. I am lame and pathetic. I'm just saying it's nice to listen to a video of someone just talking to you in a calm, relaxing way, telling you that you're loved and cared about, and just being kind to you. At the end of the day, if it helps you, then it doesn't matter if it's fucking stupid. If it makes you feel better, it makes you feel better. Other than that, I would say, go to the gym, go for walks, touch grass, look at the clouds, try to be sociable, play a guitar, do karaoke, write, read books, read the Bible, play your guitar, draw manga and anime, watch manga and anime, read it, play video games, do Let's Plays, watch Let's Plays, learn a foreign language. Just do better at it than me, though. Read some light novels. Meditate. Like I said, even the talking to yourself thing, it gives you an opportunity for self-reflection. You can understand yourself better, you can brainstorm solutions to fix problems, or at the very least, you can vent. Main thing is it can help you attain some amount of greater mental stability. Though, of course, again, the most important thing in all of this would be, seeing a doctor or having friends or family that are there for you. Other than that, I would say maybe getting a good night's sleep would be important. Maybe trying to have less stress in your life. Heck, I have a type of... I like tea. I have various types of black teas and Earl Grey, but also... And of course I have sweet teas, obviously. But then there's also... I have this one type of tea that has peppermint leaves, chamomile, lavender, and catnip. Yes, it's catnip. It's food-grade catnip intended for humans. It's supposed to have a slight sedative effect. It's meant for human consumption. Well, you're not eating it. It's like you're not eating the peppermint leaves. It's brewing. It's like Earl Grey. You're not eating the fucking tea leaves. You're brewing it, okay? But main point is this. It's, I think, helpful. So, again, maybe just, at the end, I would say this. Above all, it's not about making sudden improvement on things. It's about making steady improvement and being consistent. And above all, you want to be kind to others and kind to yourself. And if there are people that are, say, violent or toxic in your life, then just stop being around those people if you can. But above all, I would say just try to be someone who values, a serene state of mind, try to move past things. And it's everyone's how would you really describe a serene state of mind? And I'm I'd say, let go of feelings of anger, let go of feelings of fear, just have a clear and focused mind, do not have any doubt. So, try to not be angry, try to not be scared, try not to, have anxiety, try to not have doubts, try to have confidence and belief in yourself, and just try to have a clear mind and try to be focused. Oh, by the way, another thing I try to do is I'll be in my living room and I'll be juggling. I'm still terrible at it, but I just enjoy doing it. But sometimes I'll listen to Godsmack or Korn or Rammstein or Icebreaker or System of a Down or Metallica or something, or maybe even Tool or Perfect Circle. Anyway, or Tiamat or Malmsteen or Pink Floyd. And sometimes I'll just have no noise at all. Not even a background or white noise or whatever. It's literally just complete nothing or just the sound of neighbors. And I'll just be juggling balls. Just throwing these little acrobat balls up in the air and trying to juggle. I'm awful at it. A lot of times I'm only throwing two up in the air. And the third one's just over there on the table. you know? Heck, sometimes I'll just throw one ball around, just bounce back from one hand to the other, and just not really pushing to improve. I'm just doing it to enjoy it. Heck, you guys ever watch the movie Street Fighter Assassin's Fist? It was made in 2017. They have these like little Hadoken katas that are meant for like firing Hadokens. Obviously, I know I'm never going to fire a Hadoken, but it's just fun to do. Yes, I know my idea of fun sounds lame. What does Lunar like to do? Well, I like to drink Code Red Mountain Dew, play some Halo, and walk on a bike trail. Heck, if I had more money, and more space for this stuff, I'd probably start building fucking model Gundams. But that shit's expensive. I don't know. I don't know what the fuck we were talking about. I think I was like saying something about like I just want people to like improve their mental health by just talking about their feelings and trying to improve their lives and just not being so hard on themselves. Okay, so yeah, I forgot what the fuck we're talking about. What was happening? Feminist stuff. Okay, that reminds like Andrew Tate stuff. Like I'll say this. There are people that do talk about that stuff that I feel are reasonable, or at least talk about stuff that needs to be discussed, such as male domestic violence people, or, you know, people that, you know, they lost their families, or in general society that tells, like, men are all bad people and teaches people like, oh yeah, this person's going to assault you and all that shit. But yeah. Heck, like I said, the thing with the Futanari thing is this. It doesn't concern the straight people. It's like, I have no problems. I don't hate anyone. I don't hate straight people. Like, it's just like, I just want the loving romantic partner that I want. I don't want to force it on anybody else. I don't want to be like, oh no, you have to like... I mean, granted, I'd probably, if I did have a partner, I'd probably brag about it to you guys. Same way if I ever had a fucking six-pack. I'm fucking fat. I look like I'm fucking pregnant as far as I'm concerned. But I'm just saying, if I ever had a six-pack, I'm fucking showing it off, and I'm bragging nonstop about it, as opposed to my constant whining about being fat. Beyond that, if like I've ever had a partner, I'll probably brag to you guys about it. Like, yeah, guys, I have somebody, and we're fucking. Yay, ha 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 ha, lol. But yeah, like we're talking about like Andrew Tate or some shit. I'll say this: there are people within the whole air quotes red pill communities or whatever bullshit that are actually good, respectable people that are just trying to prevent people from getting hurt. They're just telling people, hey, here's bad things that are happening, just be aware. And at the end of the day, they're the kind of people, like, they're not recruiting people. People just sort of show up. People either have bad experiences like me, or people... Well, no, that's usually, yeah, that's people have bad experiences like me, and then they're like, oh, what's this? Now, of course, yeah, there's people in it that are, like, even worse than this Kenji dude. Heck, take Andrew Tate. The dude, honest, I'll at least give him this. He's more physically fit than I am. But at the end of the day, is this. He's definitely a very corrupt person. He is definitely a very misogynistic person. He definitely can be very superficial about things. He probably has like 50 rented Bugattis. And at the end of the day, he just makes it about like, oh guys, your values all like how many Bugattis and shit you have. And don't get me wrong, it's important to have enough money to support yourself, but your value as a person isn't determined by that. Now, granted, there are a lot of people that would judge you for that. But again, it's better to find someone as a partner who isn't that kind of person. You know, you want someone who actually just cares about you as a human being. But of course, it's difficult to meet people, especially after the whole COVID thing, and society is, well, honestly, I'm very worried about current economy issues. I'm just saying this. I think Andrew Tate is a fucking dumbass. You know? I mean, at the end of the day, like, what? How do you make his money? He, like, selling porn and trafficking women? What? Fucking making, like, grifting courses, like, oh, look at me, I have 50 Bugattis, and look at these hot women that I totally didn't pay to be here on my side. You know, if you watch my videos, I get ad revenue, and buy my course, I'll totally teach you how to do this, and it's not just a scam to get rich off of desperate people that are just easily influenced. You know, at the end of the day is this. The main reason why a lot of people really, drift over toward Tate is because a lot of people just honestly are just very easily influenced or had very, very bad experiences, which honestly I can understand to a degree. I've had bad experiences, but then again, I think all of us have. Then again, honestly, that's probably the best way to get rich, though, is just sell hope to stupid people. That's all you do. It doesn't matter who the people are. Just find people that are dumb and find a way to sell them hope. Just find a way. Like, heck, there's so many people that do, like, dating coach services or pickup artist shit or, my pyramid scheme make money thing. Or how to do stock trading and like the stock markets. I don't know. There's probably other stuff. Heck, there's like take my course on how to like debate people or like how to maximize your chances to like become an executive or some shit. It's like, oh, buy my course on this or that. It's like, and it's just, a lot of that stuff is shit you can just figure out for yourself. Like, here's the thing. When it comes to people having relationships, my biggest advice for everyone out there is this. Don't worry about it so much. Granted, coming from someone like me who's a complete fucking failure at relationships, and who, let's be honest, I'm a very lonely person, and I want hugs. I don't remember what a hug fucking feels like. Heck, with the exception of my mother and my son, blood relatives, I don't remember last time I hugged a person. I don't remember what a hug feels like. I'll be honest. Definitely not good for my psychological or mental health. I am a very, needy emotionally person who needs, or maybe that's just because I've been so very rare to have relationships anyway. Most of my relationships were very few and far between and did not work the greatest. So yeah, sad face there, LOL. But yeah, my advice to people, everyone, is just not take shit so seriously. At the end of the day is this. If people would only want to be with you because you had like money or how your appearance is, then do they really care about you as a person? At that point, it might be better just to be alone at that point. Heck, I'll tell you this. I tend to be a generally lonely person. I was never more lonely than when I was married. But then again, I was working all the time, coming home to a wife that fucking hated my guts, told me how much she hated me, and then was having to constantly do damage control to try to protect and take care of my child and then eventually going through a fucking divorce. So, but then I'll say this, at least during the entirety of my marriage, we were still fucking, with the exception of the times that I was either in the hospital, being pumped full of chemicals so I didn't die, the 1 month or so after she gave birth because she had an episiotomy and the doctor said she couldn't have sex or else it'd probably kill her because it would reopen the stitches. Because, also, if you don't know episiotomy, don't look that up. I watched that happen. Oh my god. It just... I did not feel comfortable watching that. Aside from that, we were, even with all the shit, the day I got the 3-inch scar on my right arm, I don't think we fucked that day, but we fucked the next day. So we were still fucking every single fucking day, even during the entire pregnancy, up until the day before, she delivered. We were still fucking every day. The only time we stopped fucking was the last couple months of our marriage because she was openly committing adultery and cheating on me, and I thought that was gross and disgusting. Don't get me wrong, I was still trying to tell her, hey, if you want to, we can fix our marriage. You just have to get tested and never fucking cheat on me ever again. And again, in general, you should not stay with someone who is cheating on you or being abusive. But I was married, and also I had a child to think about. I didn't want to lose my son. And as is, I was the one basically being the only one working and the primary caregiver. So at that point, I just wanted to do what was best for my child. And again, I'll say this. My son is currently in the best possible place in the whole world for him. His grandparents love him as if they are his own son, and he's safe from his mother. They take very good care of him. He is loved. He is safe. He is happy. He's well taken care of. They use the child support I pay them on him, so he doesn't lack anything. He's well taken care of. He's happy. My only complaint about that is I would like to see and talk to him more often and have him over here more often. But that's just me as a father wanting to be more involved in my son's life. But that being said, no matter what the future ever holds, because honestly, like I said, I don't know what the fuck's happening in the future. I'm honestly worried that World War III is going to happen. I'm worried, like, when I upload this video, like, we're just going to have, like, a news report that fucking, like, New York got, like, hit by a nuclear warhead or some shit. And hell, I had a thing about a few weeks ago where personal stuff happened, which was a bit heartbreaking for me. So that really hurt my feelings, and really I took that a bit hard, but that was like August 4th, and it is currently August 21st, 4:54 Ohio time, PM. So, yeah, it's better. It just took some time for me to, I don't know, cope with how I felt about that. So, like I said, it just made me feel a little bit heartbroken. But hey, life. But, fuck. Yeah, but in general, like I said, as far as my son, I'll always love my son. You know, he'll at least know that his dad loves him and is proud of him. And I'll always be there for him anytime he ever wants to talk to me or see me or need anything. It's just, life is the way it is. Heck, there's people that have gone through far, far worse with a lot of things that I complain about. Then again, most of those people that kill themselves. So, at least I'm at the right end of that threshold so that I can still lead a happy, fulfilling life and be super cheerful and shit. But yeah, main thing I'm saying is, like, don't, like, let go of expectations. Work solidly towards stuff. Like, you should still go to the gym. You should still play guitar and stuff. But don't put so much expectation on even getting good or improving or having anything come of it. Like, here's the thing. Go to the gym. Granted, maybe I'm not the best person to this advice because I'm not athletic and I have completely fucking failed to improve in any way. Maybe you'd have a better time listening to someone who has actually been successful at improving themselves and becoming athletic and like, ooh, look, I actually have a six-pack and big muscles and shit and all that. Maybe, like, heck, by those standards, maybe Andrew Tate would be better qualified to give people life advice than me because at the very least, he's more athletic than me. Then again, he probably shoots up with steroids. So, because I'm pretty sure he's not. And then again, I don't know how many fucking factory jobs he's worked. Or if he'd be even capable of dealing with that. And he didn't exactly get his money through, you know, we're about to say legitimate means, but honestly, he was human trafficking and shit. So, honestly, he should be in prison. But that being said, yeah, he's more athletic than I am. My main point is this. Going to the gym, you should just go for the gym for the sake of going to the gym and making gradual improvement. Don't compare yourself to other people. Just focus on being better than you were the previous day. Like, every day, you're going to make some small improvement. You'll be better tomorrow than you were today, and better today than you were yesterday. And of course, you're going to have some bad days sometimes. They're going to have some setbacks. Heck, you might have multiple setbacks in a row. You might have multiple bad days in a row. They might be very bad days, whether it's in terms of personal life or your own mental well-being. But that's normal, I hope. Or maybe I'm just a terrible example of normal. I'm just saying sometimes I have bad days. Sometimes I have multiple bad days in a row where I feel super depressed. And it's just, I don't know, I feel like I just lose all motivation. I just feel like I just want to stay in bed. Like, I don't want to do anything. So, yeah, it's terrible advice from a depressed person who is a fucking failure at everything. But my advice, again, just keep trying. You know, be kind to yourself, keep trying, drop your expectations of it. Like, drop your expectations that every day if you go to the gym, you're going to suddenly be fucking jacked or some shit. It'd be nice, it'd be cool, and if you can do that, that's cool. But drop your expectations of that, okay? And even if you had that suddenly, like, magically happen, don't expect that to fix all the problems. Like, you shouldn't be doing it for the sake of fixing something else. You should just be doing it for the sake of doing it and improving yourself and being happier. If other good things come of it as well, that's good. And granted, yes, that would probably be like the cheapest advice I can give you for free. Like, what would be the best way to improve your dating life? Be financially secure, make more money, and be athletic. Take good care of your appearance, smell nice, wear nicer clothes, be better at talking to people and being sociable, and go to the gym, lose fat, build some muscle, have good health, stuff like that. But again, have reasonable expectations of things and at least work towards it. Obviously, whoever you are, you'll probably have better success than me. I mean, I've been trying to work out and stuff. I'm still fucking fat. Then again, I'm probably going to get a fucking McFlurry from McDonald's later, so who knows. I'm just saying, the most important thing is you should be able to accept yourself and be kind to yourself. Now, granted, say if you're overweight, you should still endeavor to lose fat, but you shouldn't push yourself so hard and so fast that you hurt yourself. And you shouldn't base your whole value of whether or not you care about yourself or feel like you have value as a person on that. You are still valid and deserve to be loved as you are right now. Now, would it be healthy for you and prolong your health in the long term and perhaps make you feel better emotionally and physically and give you better energy and make you more attractive to people to lose fat? Yes. Does it make you not have value as a person to be fat? No, you still have value as a person. You're still just as valuable as a person. It's just, yes, you're going to have a little bit more difficulty when it comes to life or doing physical activities or dating or in general how people treat you. People will treat you differently based on how you look. I mean, it's true. Now, that being said, it's not the defining factor of things, and there are other things that influence things. But at the end of the day is this. You shouldn't base everything off your identity or how you feel or your value as a person off your appearance or how much money or zeros you have in your bank account. Grantedly, maybe people say that's just because, oh, you're just saying that as a loser cope looter because you're fat, you can't bench much, and there is not much in your bank account. It's like you are not going to be exactly buying a fucking Tesla anytime soon, Lunar. Heck, I'm not going to be buying a fucking better computer anytime soon. Heck, I don't know if I'll be buying another Steam game for a fucking long time. Almost all the Steam games I have, I think including this one, are games that I have gotten for free. Because I think I remember this game was free as well. Like, I've just been playing a lot of free games or returning to old games or reading books or doing the karaoke shit. I have not been spending money just because it's been a little tighter on that. Like I said, I have concerns about the economy and shit. And I've never really spent a shit ton of money on stuff either. In general, my money's basically been spent on bills, like rent and stuff, or food, like fast food stuff, or supplements, or Steam games, stuff for Let's Plays. Heck, even the VTuber model I use is technically completely free. Well, the VTuber Studio stuff I use, the Warudo VTuber Studio, as well as the VTuber model I use, are completely free. I didn't have to pay a fucking cent. Even the model is free and it's copyright free, meaning it's free for anybody to use for anything. Though I have been, at one point I was considering it Midjourney AI to do stuff where I was going to do various fusions of characters in anime. Hold on, let me stretch for a bit. Ah, my ears. Oh, fuck. Oh. Ah, my ears are wet. It's all sweaty. I think I have to actually turn the AC up again. I've been trying to save money. But it's just... yeah, that's my main advice, everyone. Just don't base your value as a person off that. But yeah, just... if you want to improve your dating life, just be more physically fit and have more money. But honestly, the more important thing is this. You should care about a person's personality the most, who you're around. You should try to find someone you can trust. As for me, I think the main thing right now, I'm probably avoiding it because I have my own stuff to worry about, as well as I want to be more financially secured in terms of just wanting to be sure I'm going to be able to pay rent in the future, because I'm a little worried about how that's going to go long term, just because I've went through a lot of changes with my job, and because I quit the job I was working and then working a different job, and it's just like, oh, been a bit of a change. Beyond that, part of me is thinking I want to lose the fat on my stomach first, because I just don't really like the way I personally look. Beyond that, still a bit anxious about things, but eventually But I think the biggest reason I'm holding off on that is just because, really, it's not like I really run into people very often. So maybe I just have to find ways to be more sociable out there in the 2024 landscape, going into 2025, and then I'll decide from there. But yeah, like I said, when I was looking at the Midjourney or whatever AIs to try to combine stuff from retro games, heck, I think Elon Musk made an AI called Grok. Maybe I could use that. Maybe one day, once I feel like I've got everything more stable with my current work. I just want to be sure that I'm financially okay. It's like you won't monetize the channel, but you're worried about eventually not being able to pay rent. Still gonna go get a M&M McFlurry. We'll eat away our stress. Not healthy, by the way. That's probably why the reason I'm a bit fat. Like I said, I'm 5'11" and I'm 216 pounds. Then again, I've done live streams. You guys can see me. I'm wearing a black mask and stuff. But you guys can see my body frame, so you guys can see how fucking fat and how not muscular I am. But yeah, like I said, nobody needs the fucking Andrew Tate course bullshit. Like I said, Andrew Tate is a fucking dumbass. And there is nobody out there that should have any respect for Andrew Tate. I'll tell you this right now. No one should respect Andrew Tate. He is a dumbass. He should be in prison. And he's just a piece of shit. That being said, yes, he's more athletic than I am. He could probably definitely bench press more than me. And he's definitely skinnier than I am. Okay, I have a gut. I look like I'm fucking pregnant. So part of that's low self-esteem. Part of that's just realistic. I know, I can see what I look like in the mirror. But in general, I'll say this. He is not somebody I think anyone should have as a role model. I think a lot of people only go to him because, again, the best way to make money is just sell hope to stupid people. And I think a lot of people are just desperate and they go to him because they see ooh, look, he's rich and all these women like him. And, people are oh, I want to be rich. I want to be, I don't know. He's bald. Does anyone want to be bald? I have hair. Lunar won. Andrew Tate negative 9,000, except for the fact that he's at least... I'm just saying this. I think a lot of the stuff is just a scam, and he was just taking advantage of people making money off of people that just felt disenfranchised with their lot in life, and thought by listening to some bald dude from Poland or something. And Poland's he's not from our country. Don't throw that evil on us. Don't you put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby. You guys remember that dude? I don't remember his name, but he was a great actor. He was in Green Mile. Oh, he was also Kingpin in the Daredevil movie, the one that had Elektra in it. She came back for Deadbolt 3. But yeah, I think Ben Affleck was Daredevil in that movie. Heck, you know what a good Batman movie? Imagine if we had another Ben Affleck Batman movie. But, you guys know Jeff Dunham? The ventriloquist guy, who with Walter and stuff. What if he did the ventriloquist from Batman the Animated Series? And then we also had Jared Leto Joker, but we also had Willem Dafoe as the anti-hero, anti-villain, Reaper. And so then we have a scene of like Willem Dafoe just beating Jared Leto to death. And then we can have like a bunch of other villains in there, like all the villains that. Here's a question: if you had a list of all the villains that have, like, here's the thing: if Ben Affleck wanted to do that, like, what villains would he want to fight against? Would Ben Affleck even want to do another Batman movie, or does he not want to do those anymore? I don't know. I actually like Batman vs Superman. I thought it was a good movie. Then again, I also liked the 1997 Armand Assante, The Odyssey movie that had an actor in it called Armand Assante. A very, very good actor. It's great. Heck, there was a point where Odysseus was telling his son, Telemachus, it's like to be easy is angry. But it's like to be what Odysseus said to his son Telemachus in the movie The Odyssey. It's a 3-hour long movie though, but you can find it free on YouTube. But what Odysseus said to his son Telemachus was to be angry is easy, but to be angry at the right man, at the right time, for the right reason, in the right place, that is difficult. And that is something you need to do as part of growing up, to learn when is the right time for that. That there is a right time and a right place for your anger. Because there was a time where he was wanting to like fight somebody. He's like, hey, not now. Basically tell him, hey, there is a right time and a wrong time. Basically he's telling him is this: I'm not saying that there's something wrong with violence. He was telling his son, hey, there is a time for violence. There is a time for fighting, but you have to know when is the right time and why is the right reason. You know, you have to understand, you know, that there's more to it, but that there is a time where, yes, you do need to be violent. You do need to be angry. The end of itself, he was telling his son that not only is there nothing wrong with being angry, but at times, anger is good. But it's a tool, like fire. Fire can bring great strides to a civilization. It can cook food. It can temper metal for blacksmithing. But it can also burn down forests and villages and burn people. Fire is like anger. It's, in of itself, good. But only if you can use it in a way that is intelligent, and learning when and how to do so, that is a difficult thing, and that is something that many people throughout life struggle with, and some people never figure out how to do that. But I also say that the original Broly movie, I like that movie. I also like the movie Schindler's List. You guys remember Nicolas Cage? I remember like a college humor video of him. It's like, it's an action movie, Schindler's Fist. It's just like, it's a joke video about Nicolas Cage going on increasingly more tasteless movies. It's done very hilariously. I like comedy, okay? I like Robin Williams. I think he's hilarious. Hey, you guys ever listen to the band Infected Mushroom? But yeah, like I said, main thing is this. Just, if you want to improve your dating lives, just go to the gym and do better financially. But at the end of the day is this. Your value as a person is not dependent on that. And honestly, the most important detail I can have for you in terms of finding a relationship partner is that you should care about the person's personality first. Because at the end of the day is this. I feel sex should be an expression of emotional intimacy. Says the person who had a fucking fucked up relationship. I'll say this, I was at least still fucking my wife all through it until the last couple months, because then I didn't want to do anything with her anymore because it was gross and disgusting, because she was having sex with someone else, and that was disgusting. Heck, she even was still trying to beg me to have sex with her. She even tried to force herself on me a few times. So that was awkward. I'm just saying this. I'm never getting married again. Not that I really have, options. Because I've actually tried flirting and talking to women and stuff, and I've just never even gotten to the point of the date. Not that that would have been financially the best interest for me. But hey, it's not like I was planning that shit. I just saw a cute girl and like, oh, started talking to them and being flirty and stuff and asking them out. But yeah, it's just, in general, over the past few years, came to understand myself a bit better in terms of what I actually like and who and what I'm attracted to. And just understanding I'm bisexual and what I like. And though, of course, again, like I said, just discussions. Like I said, my most recent Christmas was my dad typing out 6-page packets of just how Easter and Christmas are satanic and stuff. And then I spent a half hour explaining to him about how, defending gay rights and saying there's nothing wrong with people being gay. And granted, we talked about it a bit here and there, a little bit in the past, but very sparsely. This time we got more into it, and was even like having to explain to him that not all gay people are rapists, because that he was basically viewing as all gay people are the same as the people in prisons and stuff. I'm like, no. It's like, those people are not doing that because they're gay. They're doing that because they're rapists. It's like, so obviously a very complicated and awkward discussion. I think pretty much I said everything possible about that subject aside from just saying, I'm bisexual. But again, then again, it's now late August, and so that's what, January, February, March, April, May, June, July, 8 months ago. Then again, 10 months ago, I had a bladder surgery. It wasn't as invasive as I originally thought it was going to be, but I was still in a lot of pain. My mom spent 3 days and 3 nights over here with me. I greatly appreciate that. I enjoyed spending time with my mom. I just would have been nice if, it had been under better circumstances. But I'll say this. I have very fond memories of playing Super Mario 1 and Mario 3 on the NES with my mom. My mom was there for me at a lot of things when I was younger. I do have some grievances with my mom and some disagreements, but all in all families do. All in all, I'll say this. I love my mom very, very much, and I hope she lives a very, very long life. I love my mom very much. And I'd say if I ever am open about stuff, I want her to accept me and love me and, still be proud of me and not be disgusted with me or hate me or anything. So, obviously, that's something I'm a bit worried about. But, yeah, I love my mom very much. Heck, I know she did a lot of home-cooked meals when I was younger, and I'd sit in the kitchen and just talk to her. Heck, I was 11 years old. I've been in multiple car accidents in my life, and when I was 11, again, our car got T-boned, and I was in the passenger side, and Mom was in the middle, and Dad was driving. And, the car went right into the passenger side directly into me. And, she leaned over me to shield me from a lot of it. And, obviously, all 3 of us got knocked unconscious for a little bit. The police and ambulance lights woke us up. I don't really remember being hurt too much. Apparently, Mom described me as being a little more hurt than I remember, but my mom she still has a scar on her forehead, but she basically had her forehead cut open to where I could see the skull on her forehead, and I'll be honest, that made me feel, as an 11-year-old, seeing my mom's skull, it made me feel not the greatest, and I felt very upset about that. But the main point is that, her instinct was she leaned over me and protected me. And I appreciated that. I am still grateful for that. Had she not done that, I probably would have died from that. Then again, I almost died like 100 times over the course of my life. So, yay. I'm glad to be alive, but there are things that still bother me about things. But hey, maybe I'm being selfish or entitled, asking for too much about life. I'm not asking for an easy life, just easier than what it is. Then again, obviously it's better than what other people have been through, but it's just like, and in general, I said, it's been, complicated to explain everything just because it's YouTube has like a character limit of how many words you can put, but honestly, better than other sites, and even then, I'm just glad I have the option to talk about things at all. But yeah, I mean, I appreciate my mom. I love my mom. I do worry how she would respond to me being openly bi if I was like, yep, I'm now dating this trans woman, or, you know, like a guy, whether it's a shonen, like, say, Ryan Reynolds sort of person, or a femboy like Line Chu. Also, if Line Chu ever listens to this, I'm sorry if I make you uncomfortable. Zentreya is like, what about me? I'm like, yeah, sorry if I made you uncomfortable too. It's like, yeah, Zentreya and Shy Lily and Sare, they're cute, okay? It's not like I'm ever going to actually fucking meet them. But I can at least be like, hey, here's VTuber models that I think are cute. And of course, really funny senses of humor. Like I said, I see the one thing with Zentreya with the what is love thing riding that car reminds me of Proton John with Don't Eat the Mushroom Part 2. Then again, like I said, freelance astronauts, Ultra J Man, I Want to Be the Guy, How to Be a Complete Bastard, Battle Kid, Bonesaw. Heck, I remember the 24-hour live stream he did when he first did Battle Kid. The Petunia X, because there were bonus stages within the game. And I'll tell you this, the game was built for the NES. Heck, if I was going to suggest NES games to all you guys, on the NES, Mario 1, Mario 3, Castlevania 2, Simon's Quest, Robo Warrior, Dragon Spirit the New Legend, Swords and Serpents, and of course 2 Battle Kit games that didn't come out till 2010, 2012. Then you have, obviously Super Mario World for the SNES. I never owned a Super Nintendo, but I did play it a couple times with some other people. But yeah, Super Mario World, pretty kick-ass game. Game Boy, Pokemon Yellow, pretty cool. Had a Game Gear at one point, played some Sonic 2 on that. Whole Sonic game series, pretty cool. Maybe that's how we should do presidents from now on. Just have the presidents, like whether it's Trump or Biden or Kamala or Vance or, let's see. Walls. Heck, there's AOC. Heck, we can even have former people like Obama and Michelle and Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton. Just have all of them play Mario or Sonic the Hedgehog. Like we just have like Biden and Trump or Kamala and Trump just sit down and play Sonic 1, 2, and 3. It's like if you can't beat the original 3 Sonic the Hedgehog games, you're not qualified to be president. Like seriously, how could you be president of the United States of America if you cannot beat Sonic the Hedgehog? Other than that, Sega Genesis, other games would be, there's Shining Force, the original Shining Force, which was a game much like Final Fantasy Tactics. Though, I'll say this, there's 5 Shining Force I can really think of. I only like the first one and the 5th one. The first one is Sega Genesis. Absolutely baller game, amazing story. And of course, I would definitely recommend certain other games called the Lunar Silver Star story. The Eternal Blue Ocean. Lunar is a good game. Marvel vs. Capcom 2. But yeah, back to Shining Force. There's actually on the PS2, best game ever made for the PlayStation 2, Shining Force 5, also called Shining Force EXA. Absolutely amazing game. Incredible game for the PS2. Best game ever made for the PS2. Now, Sega Genesis, I would also say games like Powerball, Desert Strike, Zero the Kamikaze Squirrel, Vector Man 1 and 2, Columns, all the Sonic games, especially Sonic Spinball, Sonic 3D Blast, cool shit like that. Trying to see if there's anything I'm forgetting with that. Kid Chameleon, Space Harrier 2, there's other games I can't really remember. We'll say this, I know on a Dreamcast there was a game called Sonic Shuffle. It's like Mario Party, but I think it's much better. Heck, if we were talking about the original Xbox, of course, the original Halo, or Fusion Frenzy, or Vex, or stuff like that. Heck, the original Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic stuff was pretty interesting. Heck, a lot of the older story-based games are pretty cool. Also, all the Final Fantasies are awesome. If we're talking the original PlayStation, best game ever made for the original PlayStation was Brave Fencer Musashi. You have to save the all-you-can-eat kingdom from the Thirst Quencher Empire. And I'll tell you this. One of the final boss fights is Topo. It's a green mouse girl, so you're basically fighting, Iron Mouse, the VTuber. But it's a really great game. You can tell they want to do more, but like with the original Crash Bandicoot, there were limitations with the PlayStation. I still want a Brave Fencer Musashi 3 and a Mega Man Legends 3, which brings me again to another PlayStation game. Mega Man Legends. Mega Man Legends was a great game, as was Blam Machine Head, or Jersey Devil, the Crash Bandicoot games, Spyro, especially original Spyro, and I'll tell you this, I have very fond memories of playing the NES with my mom, and of course we also played Robo Warrior and Dragon Spear and stuff, but I would say mostly me and my mom played Mario 1 and Mario 3. But aside from that, on the original PlayStation, my mom and I played some Crash Bandicoot 2 and 3, but primarily the main thing we played on the original PlayStation was Spyro the Dragon. And I think we initially played the other Spyros later as well, but for the most part, the original Spyro the Dragon was the one we played the most. And I'll tell you this, the biggest thing is, while they did make a remaster of it, it has a very beautiful textures that's made for PS4, I'll tell you this, I still look back and see the original graphics for the PlayStation 1, and I still feel impressed by it. I still like it. I still almost feel like I like those original graphics better than what the newer ones are. And granted, I appreciate the newer graphics, but it's just, maybe it's nostalgia? And I'll tell you this. Yes, I do disagree with my mom on some things. I do have some concerns with her on some things. She was not perfect. There's many things I could say I could have grievances with her on. But at the end of the day, I love my mother. And even with all of her flaws, I love her dearly. I would never choose any mother in place of her. I love my mom very much. And I have a very strong emotional bond with her. So I care about her very much. And like I said, if I ever am open with stuff, I just hope that she is, that she still loves me, and that she's still proud of me, and that she, doesn't get angry at me or all that. So I am very worried about that, and it is something that does emotionally bother me. Like, it's just, I do love my mom, and I want my mom to accept me. And granted, everyone's like, you're 37, Lunar, you should be past this. I'm like, here's the thing, it doesn't matter how long I live. I could live for 1,000,000 years. I would still love my mom. Even if my mom decides, that she hates me. Even if my mom were to tell me that she hates me and is disgusted by me, and just that she is completely unaccepting of it, I'll still love her. I'll be hurt. I'll be upset. I'll be sad. I will be whatever word I would describe being worse than upset, but I'll still love her. I'll still care about her. I'll hope that she would change her mind eventually. But even if she didn't ever, even if she spent the next 1,000,000,000 years being that way and not liking me or deciding that she hates me now or some shit, I'll still love her. And who knows, maybe I'm being a bit too paranoid. Maybe I'm not giving her enough of a benefit of the doubt. Again, maybe I'm just too paranoid. But then again, this is the person who raised me. If anything, I think I'm the most qualified person to understand this person. I grew up by this person. This is the person who raised me. Granted, there were a lot of other influences. But, yeah, I'd say out of all the people on the planet, the two people I'd say I'd really love are my mom and my son. And like I said, I'll always love and care about my son and always be there for him, no matter what as well. But again, life can be complicated. But yeah, it's just with my mom, I love my mom. So no matter how she feels about things or how that changes, I won't hate her. I won't respect her any less. Granted, yes, I'll be hurt, I'll be upset, but I'll still love her, and I'll be patient and in that situation, I would hope that she would eventually come around. And even if she never were to, I would still love her. Granted, I would still be sad about the whole fucking thing. And really bothered by it. I mean, it really would bother me a lot. But I would still love her. But I forget what the fuck we're talking about. Oh yeah, video games. But yeah, it's just I mean, heck, there's the Gex Enter the Gecko trilogy. That's pretty good. That was on PlayStation. Jaquito, Urban Fighters, all the Final Fantasy games are pretty kick-ass. If we go back to PS2, like I know it's that Shining Force EXA is the best game, but other good games are like Star Ocean Till End of Time, Grandia 3, Dragon Quest 8. Heck, I'll tell you this. While it's not the best game ever made, it's probably a close second. And while there's technically like 9 games in this series, the first one in it, when you keep in mind each of these cases comes with its own separate anime OVA, I would say the game .hack infection. There's a picture of a girl named Aura on the front of it. It's technically a direct story sequel to the anime .hack sign, which had a character called Tsukasa in it. The anime opening to that song Obsession for the anime is really, really cool. Heck, I strongly suggest the anime Bubblegum Crisis Tokyo 2040 and the Slayer's anime of Lena and Verse. But .hack infection. While I would say it's not as good of a game as Shining Force EXA, I will say this. .hack infection is the most immersive, addictive, again, the most immersive game you have ever played in your life. It'll like suck you in and you'll be absorbed into the game. Hopefully not literally. We're like talking like Sword Art Online. But I'm just saying that you become almost like the rest of the world doesn't exist and you're just to where you're that. Maybe it's a good story, maybe it's good gameplay, I don't know. But for whatever reason, playing .hack infection felt the most immersive of any game I've ever played. Beyond that, heck, of course, out of my Let's Plays, heck, I suggest the games Thumper, Jubilee, Nerve, Splasher, Super Meat Boy, Death Mark 2, Chaos Head Noah, the Perfect Apocalypse Trilogy, Purgatory Forever. Technically 3 games. I played them blind. The second one first. I did Purgatory Forever, then Love at First Bite, and then Patches Inferno, and yes, everything is a cat pun. Then again, I also did a blind Let's Play of Resident Evil 7 and Resident Evil 8, though I would say definitely start with 7. Heck, I did a game called How to Date Magical Girls, which is in the Gravity, just type the word Gravity. But good games, I enjoyed them. A lot of games I've been playing recently are free. But yeah, the idea, like, what if you were to take AI and you were to take things from those retro games, like from Robo Warrior or Super Mario 1, and bringing them into like Elden Ring level graphics. You use AI to combine stuff from different games. Like, what if you took Mega Man Juno from Mega Man Legends 1, which, while technically has a PlayStation, but also had a version that was Mega Man 64 on the N64? What if you took that as like a Dark Souls type thing and did it like Grave Lord Nito or something like that? Or what if you took stuff from Castlevania 2, Simon's Quest, and did it in like Bloodborne graphics? Or vice versa? Or what if you were to take the backgrounds and environments and places like Dragon Spirit, the New Legend, or Robo Warrior, and render those graphics and environments in, a 3D environment? Or heck, take the backgrounds from Brave Fencer Musashi. Very great platformer game, by the way. It's a shame it's not on Steam or PlayStation Online, but it's awesome. It's an amazing game. Heck, I think a really cute character that I think would be both a great relationship partner in terms of personality, but also being downright beautiful, would be a Dragon Ball Z fusion of Albedo from Overlord and Roll Casket from Mega Man Legends. Heck, I've described my personality many times as various Dragon Ball Z type fusions. And I would say I describe it as 11 different fusions. I would describe my personality as the following 11 Dragon Ball Z fusions. Fusion number 1, Yusuke, Urameshi, and Sailor Moon. Yusuke Urameshi from Yu Yu Hakusho, and Sailor Moon from, well, Sailor Moon. Fusion number 2, Astolfo and Jack Hanma from Baki the Grappler. Astolfo and Jack Hanma. Fusion number 3, Chrono Gorgon and Vasha Stampede. Chrono Gorgon from Soul Eater and Vasha Stampede from the original Trigun anime. Though I do want to say this, all these animes in question have amazing music, as well as the games. Heck, Robo Warrior and Dragon Spirit for the NES have 8-bit, of course, but it's incredible banger soundtrack. Heck, I like anime and video game soundtracks quite a bit. My musical taste consists of like Rammstein, System of a Down, Korn, Disturbed, Bruce Faulconer, Dragon Ball Z soundtracks, Pokemon soundtracks, Rammstein, you know, that sort of stuff. Dragon Ball Z Fusion number 4, Stein and Nagisa. Stein from Soul Eater and Nagisa from Assassination Classroom. So a Dragon Ball Z fusion of Stein and Nagisa. Fusion number 5, the Cable Guy Jim Carrey and Ernest Jim Varney. So you have Chip the Cable Guy, as played by Jim Carrey in the movie The Cable Guy from the 90s, as well as Jim Varney as his role as the character Ernest. So Dragon Ball Z fusion of those two people. Then fusion number 6, Vegeta and the 2003 Guilty Gear XX Testament. So Vegeta and the 2003 version of Testament. Fusion number 7, Goku and Tsukasa from Dot Hack Sign. Fusion number 8, Shinji Ikari from the original Evangelion, and the Zelos Metallium from the Slayers anime from the 90s featuring Lena Inverse. So Shinji Ikari and Zelos Metallium. Fusion number 9, Lichtbach Rihito and Takumi Nishijo. This is Lichtbach Rihito from the anime The Plunderer, and Takumi Nishijo from the visual novel on Steam, Chaos Head Noah. So Lichtbach Rihito and Takumi Nishijo. Fusion number 10, which honestly I would say each of these characters, in of themselves, is a very clear indicator of my personality. Tate from AI, the Somnium Files, the original version, and, you know, because they made a Nirvana Initiative as a sequel. I'm mainly talking about the first version. But of course, play both games, so both games are awesome. And then Mikan Sumuki from Danganronpa 2 Goodbye Despair. So a Dragon Ball Z fusion of Date and Mikan Sumuki. Now I'll say this. If anything, I would describe myself as the male version of Mikan Sumuki from Danganronpa 2. Heck, I would also say that you take Date from AI the Somnium Files and just listen to him talk, his behaviors, even his inner monologue. That's literally Lunar D8's personality. That's me. But yeah, so Date from AI Somnium Files and Mikan Sumuki from Danganronpa 2. And then finally, Alucard from Team 4 Stars Hellsing Abridged, and Mega Man Volnut from Mega Man Legends. So, I would describe myself with those fusions. Heck, I found a character from a different anime who looks, in my opinion, like a fusion of Astolfo and Jack Hanma that I have shared as, though I'm not going to say what anime he is from, but I'm just saying in terms of physical appearance and personality, he definitely seems to be, in my opinion, what a fusion of Astolfo's personality and Jack Hanma's personality be, as well as appearance. Then again, I will say, well, I'm definitely not that in appearance. Personality-wise, yes. Okay, so I don't know what the fuck we were talking about. So, I'm just saying at some point I might want to use AI for that, and maybe I could do stuff that's cool. I don't know. Heck. Probably get that McFlurry at some point. And that day will come when the feminists come to their central top secret worldwide feminist headquarters and say, it's on now, motherfuckers. Okay, that doesn't exist. Like I said, it's just rich, it's just like rich people who are just like wanting everyone to fight each other. There is no like central organization for men or women. And if there is, then nobody's fucking told me about that shit. Just saying this. I think it's just rich people trying to manipulate people. You're being ridiculous. I agree. There's no big worldwide feminist headquarters building. Where would they even hide that? I mean, it'd be massive. You could hide that on Earth. Someone would notice a big fortress with women in it. Who said it was on Earth? What the fuck? What is it, on Mars? Jesus Christ, man. What is it, in the mirror? I turn away from Kenji and start practicing frowning faces in the mirror so that I can figure out what kind of frown will best express my emotions. Yeah, he's out of his fucking mind. Like I said, there's certainly some things Alex Jones says that definitely is interesting to hear, and other things you're like, no. No. Then again, like, he has that thing about like, I don't like them putting chemicals into water, turn the freaking frogs gay. And I'm like, I made jokes about it, like, maybe he was right. It's like, I don't know if it was chemicals in the water, personal choice, spinal injury, psychotic traumas, I don't know, loneliness, or just Astolfo awakening something in me when Astolfo became publicly known. But yeah, I'm gay now. I'm bisexual now. I love dicks. I love cock now, and I love it. I love that I love cock. I like beautiful women with big titties and dicks. I think Zentrea is Shy Lily, and everyone's like, are you insinuating something there? No, I'm just saying they're pretty. And if they had dicks, they could fuck me. And everyone's like, stop making them feel uncomfortable. I'm like, I'm sorry, okay? I'm sorry if I made you uncomfortable. It's just a statement of a true fact. Same way like, Line Chew, or like say ACDVR. You guys ever? Or iLulu. Though iLulu is more interesting just because personality, but they all are pretty funny. It's just like, it's hilarious. Or take Taiga. Taiga's pretty cool. Heck, Taiga's really fucking good at singing. Because I really like hear his rendition of Fly Me to the Moon. Holy shit. So that's fucking good singing. I like singing, okay? But yeah. Like, iLulu, ACDVR. Pretty hilarious stuff. Man, they make a lot of jokes that... And of course, like I said, there's lots of other VTubers of that niche. As well as like people that are more Bishonen. And by that I mean, people that would be basically, air quotes, pretty boy, but not femboy. And of course, there's lots of people that are kind of femboy, but they're not, again, a person's not a sexual object. But some people choose to be more sexual in the way they talk about things, and some people don't. Heck, there are some people I know, like there's one dude that does like streaming stuff on Twitch, like Small Stronk. He's got like pink hair, and he's got like cat ears and shit. And the dude is completely non-sexual. He just plays games like Resident Evil, and just is like the most badass motherfucker, cussing at the shit and having fun. So if you get a chance, check that dude out. But yeah, like nothing sexual about his shit at all. He's just there entirely for the lols. and he's pretty cool. But I forget what the fuck we're talking about, man. I don't know what's happening. I went off on a tangent. Which unfortunately means that he can keep on ranting without any regard to sense or sensibility. Yeah, there's a war going on. It's an info war. Fucking stupid. But it's a great one that one day will boil over and encompass all the known world. And then we'll have to pick sides. We'll have to make a stand. In fact, it's happening right now. Imagine it, the bloody battlefield, vicious conflict without end. I almost gave up when I thought the cause was silly. When I grew tired of the bleakness of our fight. When I mistook the time, the power went out of the feminist raid. The thought was, what is happening? But then I realized that if I gave up, it would all be over. And I was like, whoa. And I knew I had to be serious because I'm the last sane man in the sane world. It's about duty. Must be pretty crappy movement if all hinges on one naked guy ranting in a bathroom at another naked guy. So can I have the money? Right, pizza. It's all about pizza. It's blocking the way out. It's getting cold because I'm still naked. I want to go to class, so I agree to spot in the money. Awesome, thanks, dude. We should go bowling later on. Bowling? With my money? Yes, the ultimate sport. There are almost no women bowlers either, making it almost the manliest sport. Okay. Again. I'd be cool with, like, people of either gender doing stuff. I mean, I've played Magic the Gathering with girls. That was cool. Then again, that's just because I think I just liked playing Magic the Gathering or, Gundams. I'm just saying it's cool to find people with similar interests. Doesn't matter what's between their legs. It's just like, hey, you know what's cool? Enjoying a similar hobby. Should I wear my pink bowling shirt, matching shoes, and pastel green flowers accents? Is that a Vegeta reference? Those are bowling clothes? Maybe. Are those Vegeta clothes? Is that like Trunks Saga reference going on right here? Anyway, you had better pay me back. I can pay you back in stuff, right? I don't have time to ask him to elaborate what that means. Well, is he like a weed? Is he like got marijuana and shit? I don't know. I have to get to class. You're kind of in the way. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I don't want to hold you up. And I have stuff to do myself. The time has come. For pizza! The time has come. I just keep saying that. Oh, I just like to. I'll be back. Okay, now the time's really come. For what? Pizza. I have to go to the bathroom. Get out of it. But you're already naked, man. What does it even fucking matter? I was just going too. And what does that mean? It's a big bathroom. So I have to be alone or I can't go. The peer pressure. Okay, what if someone else comes in? I'll think of something. I give him my practice frown and it looks kind of silly reflecting in the glass. He either doesn't notice or doesn't see. Anyway, I get dressed and run back to my room, feeling as though an eternity has passed since I woke up. This time, I will never get back. I'll get him for this somehow. But right now, I have to get to class. I'm the first person in class today, although I think I'm a little too early. Then again, sitting alone here for 20 minutes surely beats having to suffer time with Kenji. Well, I think we've done enough of video. I'm sorry the whole video was wasted on talking about, like, I don't know, feminism or some shit. I don't know. Other than that, if you guys want to comment stuff below about for or against or about whatever, go for it. Just be respectful. No hate speech. No threatening anybody. Everyone be respectful of each other. Everyone just be polite and kind to one another, okay? No hateful anythings, okay? Just everyone be kind to each other. We're all friends here, right? It's like you're trusting people on the internet to actually fucking behave. Okay, well, sorry I made such a long 2.5 hour fucking video. Fuck. Anyway, so sorry we didn't get to do anything other than just standing naked in a shower talking to a dude about Alex Jones stuff, I guess. Later.